Good evening and welcome to tonight's second meeting that we've had to hear from the community on the Superintendent's FY 2021 operating budget proposal to the Board of Education. As always, board members are looking forward to hearing and giving thoughtful consideration to your input as we prepare to review and take action on the superintendent's recommendations. Before we begin speaking, a little housekeeping. So it's a very full house tonight. I want to ask if you have really big signs, just make sure it's not intruding in front of another person's view. We want to make certain that we keep it safe in here. So if it gets too crowded, we'll ask people to go to room 114 and we'll have room in the cafeteria as well. But if we can continue to keep our aisles clear, I would appreciate it. We have interpretive services for those that need it. And we have spaces reserved for our speakers. So we have 30 seats reserved for our first 30 speakers. And as those 30 speakers move, then we'll ask the next section of 30 speakers to come to the front. We have those reserved for you. Now at this time, if I didn't introduce myself, I am Shebra Evans, the board president, and I will ask my colleagues to begin introducing themselves before we continue on, as well as MCPS staff and administration.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Wolf, and I'm the Vice President of the Board. I represent District 5.
Good evening. I'm Hattie O'Neill, District 3.
Judy Daka, District 1.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I'm Rebecca Smondrowski, District 2.
Good evening. Thank you all as well for coming out this evening. Jeanette Dixon, Member at Large.
Good evening, buenas noches. I'm Carla Silvestri, School Board Member at Large.
Good evening, my name is Nate Tinbite. I'm the student member of the board.
All right, Nate.
Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. Jack Smith, Superintendent.
Good evening, Monifa McKnight, Deputy Superintendent. Thank you for being here this evening.
Good evening, Nicola Diamond. I am the outgoing Chief Financial Officer. Today is actually my last day.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm Dan Morella. I'm the acting Chief Financial Officer. This is my first day, so.
And at the table.
Good evening, Kim Statham, Chief of School Support and Improvement.
Good evening, everyone. Andy Zuckerman, Chief Operating Officer. Nice to see you tonight.
And good evening, Maria Navarro, Chief Academic Officer.
Before I begin, I just want to say to Nikki Diamond, thank you for your more than 30 years of service. We appreciate you, and you're always welcome back. The order of the speakers is printed on the agenda, available on the table at the door. Most speakers have provided their testimony. If you have not done so, when you come to the podium, we have our board staff to the left, to my left, maybe to your right. If you give them 20 copies of your testimony, that would be much appreciated. And then move to the front of the auditorium when the person before you is called to the podium so that we can expedite the hearing. When a speaker begins, a green light will go on. 30 seconds prior to the expiration of the speaker's time, a yellow light will go on, indicating that you have 30 seconds left. The red light signals that the speaker's time has expired and the speaker is not to continue beyond this point. We have a lot of community members who are here to testify this evening, and we just want to be respectful of their time as well as your time and adhere to the time limits. The board's work sessions on the operating budget requests will be on Wednesday, January the 22nd, from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m., and then on Thursday, January the 28th, from 12:30 until 4:30. We will take tentative action on the proposed budget on Monday, February the 10th, 2020. And at this time, we will begin with our first speaker. Municipalities and elected officials, we will have up Mayor Bridgette Donald Newton and the city, from the city of Rockville, and Councilmember Monique Ashton.
Good evening, President Evans, members of the Board of Education. I'm Bridgette Donald Newton, Mayor of the City of Rockville, and with me is Monique Ashton, Council Member for the city. Councilmember Ashton and I are here to share our perspectives on the superintendent's recommended operating budget. We strongly support all county schools receiving the necessary resources for all students to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. And we, the city, would like to share our insights related to the specific needs of Rockville. A superior education for all students served by MCPS in Rockville and across the county, including early childhood learning, is a high priority of the mayor and council. We support the plan to expand full-day pre-K seats in 2021 and in outer years, and universal pre-K for all 4-year-olds and eligible 3-year-olds, because we also believe that early childhood education is integral to the student success equation. We applaud Montgomery County and the school system for embarking on the Early Childhood and Education Initiative, and we request that you include Rockville in these discussions. We want to partner with the school system and explore potential pilot activities in schools that serve our students. Today's society places multiple pressures on families and children which cause social and emotional distress. We thank the superintendent for his recommendation to increase mental health and support in middle and high schools and urge the board to increase these resources in elementary schools. The MCPS K-12 budget staffing guidelines for counselors are woefully inadequate and do not take into account the complexity of needs of students, including ESOL 1 and 2, and children who have experienced trauma. We request that the counselor enrollment guidelines for both Title I and Focus schools be revised downwards as they exclude on-site pre-K students, and we recommend that they be included. We know that Twin Brook Elementary School students have crisis-level mental and social health issues. In pressures. In FY19, school counselor data indicates a staggering 892 individual meetings with students. There were also 28 student case referrals to the Montgomery County Crisis Center for self-harm. It is simply unfair for a single school counselor to manage such a massive and important workload. We urge you to increase the counseling staff at Twin Brook Elementary School for children who desperately need mental and social health support.
Good evening, I'm Monique Ashton, and I serve on the Rockville City Council. The mayor and council request the establishment of a Linkages to Learning site at Twin Brook Elementary School. We've seen the success of linkages at Maryville, a site that's operated with support from the city, and believe the students need the same integrated approach to academics, health, and social services at the school, given the complexity of needs you just heard. Our students can thrive with the right support and wraparound services. With the strategic planning process underway, we ask the school system partner with the county's Department of Health to make this request a reality. Equity and access for all children must be at the forefront of education. We now have significant analysis of performance and opportunity gaps across county schools. Clusters serving Rockville students have expressed the need for more ESOL support and staffing. We thank the superintendent for recommending additional staffing and request the board increase funding for ESOL and compensatory education programs. We also request that MCPS work to address the opportunity gaps noted in the ERS report, noting that Latino and African American students are less likely to be identified for advanced coursework, even when they have peers with the same performance. The Corwin Commission recommended increased funding to address performance and opportunity gaps and other critical aspects of education that would transform Maryland schools to a world-class system. We stand ready to partner with you and the school system to advocate for increased MCPS and county funding from the state, and that the Corwin legislation ultimately approved in Annapolis does not overburden the county financially. In closing, we thank you for this opportunity and ask you to please consider increasing staffing for school counselors in ESOL, as well as expanding important programs such as Linkages to Learning and early childhood education. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Jerome Klobukowski, President of Commissioners of the Town of Poolesville.
Good evening, Board President Evans, Superintendent Smith.
Hit your button.
Good evening, Board President Evans, Superintendent Smith, members and staff of the Board of Education. Happy New Year to you all. I am Jerry Klobukowski, President of the Poolesville Town Commission. I am here representing Poolesville, its citizens, the citizens of Western Montgomery County whose children attend the Poolesville cluster schools, as well as those out-of-cluster parents and students whose children attend the Poolesville High School whole magnet. Attachment 1 to my testimony lists some of Poolesville cluster's schools' operational needs. The Poolsville Cluster wants to continue to uphold Montgomery County's reputation for academic excellence, which promotes Montgomery County as the place for people to live and businesses to locate and sustain the county's reputation as the state's economic engine. It's imperative that the necessary staffing, equipment, programs, maintenance continue to be provided not only to our 70-year-old high school, but also to all of our cluster schools. This will ensure the learning environment does not deteriorate and that staff, programs, facilities provide a stimulating and challenging academic environment in a wide variety of disciplines. We appreciate the school system and Montgomery County Police for improving the security and safety of Poolsville High School students, teachers, and staff by increasing the number of school security assistants from 3 to 4 and the assignment of a permanent school resource officer. Key to the program and resources is the allocation of the student population. We ask the board to ensure that all our cluster schools students are afforded the same programs and educational opportunities as students living in the more densely populated areas of the county. Attachment 1 is a long list, but let me just highlight a few. Due to John Poole Middle School's student population, course offerings are not as robust as in other county middle schools in more densely populated areas. This should not be the case. Historically, Poolsville Elementary School's student population has been miscalculated, resulted in an imbalance of the student to teacher staff ratio. The calculations used for next year's teacher staffing projections need to be re-examined to ensure individual needs of all of our students are being met. As Monocacy Elementary School is short-staffed, no assistant principal, and MCPS's administrative requirement remain the same regardless of school size. Therefore, it should have a full-time attendance secretary, a full-time administrative secretary, a full-time staff development teacher, like all of the other small schools. 2 full-time core team, two full-time core team members and 2 part-time core members instead of 1 core and 3 part-time core team members. The positions are necessary to ensure the safety and accounting of all students during an emergency, front office staffing when mandatory duties require the staff to go off-site for training, improve and expand teachers' pedagogical skills to accommodate new math and reading curriculum, and since there's only 1 4th and 5th grade teacher at those grades, to provide compacted math for students. The staff development teacher is the teacher of record. This staffing is critical to support students' math and instructional needs and align Monocacy's staffing with those of smaller county schools. Again, we hope that the board, working with the county executive, the county council, the county of Maryland's Montgomery County legislative delegation, will work together during the 2020 legislative session to have a larger portion of state funds brought home to Montgomery County, and we are willing to help in that endeavor. Our schools are the heart of Poolsville and Western Montgomery County community. We take great pride in the achievements of all of our students in all of our cluster schools. It is a testimony to the hard work of our cluster students, their parents, the teachers, and the school staff. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to address these issues with you, and I wish you all a good evening.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from our students. First up is ZyQwan Green. You can start whenever you're ready.
Good evening, Dr. Smith and members of the Board of Education. My name is ZyQwan Green, and I am excited to be here today. Today, I will be speaking about why we need more counselors in elementary schools. We have kids who have troubles at home and with other kids at school. They are upset and running out of class and screaming and shouting down through the halls. And at our all of this impacts how they feel and how they act. It messes with their heads so they can't focus or process it. They don't know what to do, and they don't have any help or anyone to talk to. Then they need to see Dr. Jones, our counselor. When they go to her office, she is busy helping 500 other kids. They don't get the help they need. Last year I had a lot of troubles with my temper, schoolwork, my emotions, and things that were going on at home. A lot of days I was angry even when Dr. Jones tried to help. I did not like her and we did not get along. This year is totally different. I take a break with her every day and I am in a group with her every week. Every week we talk about my feelings, what's bothering me, and how to solve problems I have been making much better choices. I am a lot calmer and more respectful to everyone. I do really well on my chart now. I used to get a lot of thumbs down, but now I get 17 out of 18 or 18 out of 18 points. All elementary schools should have the same amount of counselors as middle and high schools. So if we have 500 kids, we need 2 counselors at our schools to help all of our kids with their problems. Thank you. And also, whoa.
Finish up. No, go ahead. No. Finish. Go ahead. Finish.
I guess I didn't have to. Thank you.
Very good. Now we will hear from Marian Mendy.
Good evening, Dr. Smith and the Board of Education. My name is Marian and I'm in 4th grade. I think we need a lot more counselors in elementary schools because there are 500 kids in my school and it's very hard for Dr. Jones to get to every one of them who needs to see her. When you want to see Dr. Jones and she is in another group or she is busy helping someone else, you have to wait until another day, and sometimes she doesn't even get to you. I feel disappointed when that happens because sometimes it's a really important thing to talk to her about, and sometimes it can wait. On a day when it is really important, I feel sad that I can't talk to her because I really need to talk and get help. When I lost my uncle due to a very bad reason, it was very good when I got to talk to Dr. Jones because she knows what it feels like to lose someone. She read a helpful book with me and talked about how life is, sometimes like that, and it just hurts for a while. We talked about a time when Dr. Jones also lost a friend, and she gave me ideas about how to help myself try to feel better, so I wouldn't be so sad. That way, when I go back to class, I focus much better on my schoolwork. Sometimes if kids get mad too easily, she gives them something called a flash pass. So when they're mad, they just come to her and they can cool down. Sometimes she is not in her room, and when they can't cool down, they might hurt someone or do something bad. If we had another counselor, people like them would not do anything bad anymore. Having only one counselor for our whole school is very hard. If we had one more counselor, they could help half of the school so Dr. Jones could help the other half. They could both do more groups and lessons and help kids when they're angry or upset. I also think we should have another counselor who could monitor the halls and other places to help whenever they see a problem. They would be right there to help right away. It will help kids feel calm and more safe. These days I'm feeling much better. A few weeks ago my aunt died and I was able to handle it better after Dr. Jones taught me about how life is. I help my 2 older cousins and my young cousins with their anger and sadness because Dr. Jones helped me learn how to feel better when my uncle passed away. We need more counselors like Dr. Jones. I recommend 1 counselor for every 250 students in all elementary schools. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Sydney Evans.
Good evening. My name is Sydney Evans, and I am in the 11th grade at John F. Kennedy High School. I've been a Girl Scout for the past 12 years, and I'm currently a Girl Scout senior in Troop 5759, and I'm working on my Gold Award project, which is the highest award you can receive as a Girl Scout. To earn this award, you must identify an issue that you care about and take action. I am passionate about music, and I have played an instrument since elementary school. I've joined orchestra my freshman year, and last year I played in the marching band. After participating in both, I realized the competitions in various festivals we've played in and how a big difference there was between our equipment and the others and that of other schools. Those other schools included some from MCPS, whose instruments were in better condition and traveled to competitions on charter buses. Our instruments were broken mouthpieces and we had to carpool to competitions. Let me be clear that our broken instruments were not because of neglect, but insufficient funding for preventive care. For my Gold Award project, I chose to advocate for equitable funding because I am passionate about music, but more importantly because I believe everyone should have the necessary resources to thrive. For many students in the Down County Consortium, there are many barriers they face to participate in music, as well as funding challenges faced by band directors. I want to see music programs in all our schools excel, especially in the Down County Consortium. To understand the condition of music and instruments and the challenges faced in DCC schools, I surveyed marching band orchestra students and band directors. One of the questions I asked the students was, did they choose their instrument based on interest or availability? I was surprised to learn that 20% of the students said it was based on availability. Another question I asked extracted information on the condition of borrowed instruments. Half of the respondents that borrowed instruments said they were old and in need of repair. Band directors were also asked about their annual budgets and whether they were sufficient to cover instrument repairs and costs. Budgets varied, but the majority of the expenses were spent on instrument repairs and sheet music. My music teacher spent 22% of her budget on repairs. However, this year, 80% of students at my school used school instruments, and some students played more than one instrument. My music director will use almost her entire budget for repairs and still won't be getting much accomplished. Other directors mentioned they're not having enough budget to purchase instruments and sheet music. So these are my questions to the board. Are music budgets evaluated on an annual basis, and how often are county-wide needs assessed? Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Hana Oluni.
Good evening, Dr. Smith and members of the Board of Education. My name is Hana Oluni, and I am a sophomore at Richard Montgomery High School, and tonight I'm here to talk about a basic human right that MCPS has failed to include in its operating budget year after year: feminine hygiene products. Around a year ago, I met with state delegates in Annapolis to advocate for HB 133, a bill that would have required every county government in the state of Maryland to provide feminine hygiene products in public schools at no charge to students. Although many delegates were supportive of the initiative, others told me that it would be too costly, an infringement on county autonomy, or even dangerous. As a result, the bill died in the House and never made it to the Senate. Now allow me to clarify. Menstrual hygiene, as deemed by the United Nations, is a fundamental human right. So yes, MCPS has supported state bills similar to HB 133 in the past. But because it has become clear that menstrual equity in schools is not a priority for our state legislature, it is imperative that MCPS take initiative. A State of the Period study commissioned this year by the nonprofit Period found that 1 in 5 menstruating teenagers in the US struggles to afford menstrual products or is unable to afford them at all. And 84% of the 1,000 teenagers surveyed said that they have missed class time because of a lack of access to menstrual products. The females in this room know that these numbers aren't shocking. After all, what do we do when we don't have a pad or tampon on hand? We ask a friend. And when no one is in the bathroom, we text a friend or our sister and ask them to leave class so that they can deliver one to us. All in all, the whole process probably results in a loss of 5 to 10 minutes of class for both of us. This should not be normal. Keeping feminine hygiene products out of our school bathrooms is keeping girls and those who menstruate from getting an equitable education. And it's not an impossible task either. Our neighbor, Fairfax County, established a pilot program this year to supply bins stocked with pads at 37 different schools and found that because, like MCPS, their school nurses already provide pads in their offices, the only real added cost was the cost of bins. Members of the Board of Education, it is baffling that I am giving this testimony today in the year 2020. Over the past couple of days, there have been discussions of switching to 2-ply toilet paper. And outrageous, it is truly outrageous that projects like that are being considered when 1 in 5 of our menstruating students cannot afford a fundamental human right. And so, as you determine how to best serve our students with over $2.8 billion of proposed funding, I ask you, is there not room for menstrual and educational equity?
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Zoe Tishaev.
I'm not allowed to wear this. Good evening, Superintendent Smith, President Evans, and members of the Board of Education. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to testify today. 2 years ago, I stood before you all and delivered my first testimony to the Board of Education. Over these past 2 years, I have grown from a student into a whole advocate, into the student government president at Clarksburg High School and the PTSA vice president at my school. Today, I'm speaking to you as an individual, as a senior, and as a product of this school system. Make no mistake, I got to where I am today because of the phenomenal resources we offer here in MCPS. I am where I am because of programs like ACES, a partnership between MCPS and Montgomery College to help lower income students get to college. I am where I am because I was lucky enough to catch my counselor when I needed her. I am where I am because of the resources and the emphasis this county places on rigorous courses. That is why this board must fully fund Superintendent Smith's proposal. And I know it's a big ask. I know that this year's budget is proposed $121 million increase over last year's. And I know that the OMB's report of economic stagnation in Montgomery County makes funding possibilities feel slim. And I know that hearing the disappointing news today that the county executive does not plan to fully fund our CIP, we may be tempted to preemptively cut our budget to make it easier to pass. But we cannot afford to do that. Not now, when our school system is growing more rapidly than ever before in history. Not now, when the achievement gap stubbornly persists in category after category. Not now, when the eyes of the state are on us to be the models of the successful drivers of the Kirwan Commission. We are in a watershed moment of education, not just in the county, but in the state and quite possibly the nation. The General Assembly is looking over a $4 billion investment into our schools. Now is not the time for the largest school system in Maryland to waver its commitment to funding our future. We must fully fund this budget. We must meet the needs of the students and the teachers. We must reaffirm our commitment to closing the gap and ensuring the best possible future for our students. And if the county executive refuses to meet that goal, we will take the crackling energy that we have in this room, we will march down to 100 Maryland Avenue, and we will make sure that every last dollar is invested in our students. officials are asking how to bridge the revenue shortfall. But the answer is here, in this budget. The answer is funding our schools. So thank you, members of the board, for all you have done to shape me into who I am today. I am excited to work with you to pass this $2.8 billion budget so we can continue to uphold and expand the excellence that has allowed me to flourish as a student, as an advocate, and as a person. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So at this time, we will open it up for board questions, and I will begin with Ms. Jeanette Dixon.
I just want to quickly thank all of our students for coming out and testifying this evening. To ZyQwan and Marian, thank you very much. Jennifer Jones, your counselor. Jennifer, stand up so people can see you. Yeah. Sydney Evans, in case you're wondering, she is Miss Evans' daughter, and she was very nervous, but you did a great job, Sydney. I'd say that. Hana, thank you very much. We will obviously look very closely into that. And Zoe, I just want you to know that there's a board seat that will be available on December 1st.
Mrs. Mondrosky.
Yes, thank you. I too want to thank everybody for being here today. I love the fact that we have so many staff members here working with us. The students, thank you so much. Your testimony is amazing. I have one question, actually two, I apologize. One is, are music budgets evaluated on an annual basis? And second question is, how often are countywide needs assessed?
So we have done that this year. And looked at the music budget across the system this year, and we have put in place a process that we will do that on a regular basis, and this budget recognizes the need to do some significant upgrade in making music instruments available to students who cannot provide their own.
Thank you.
Dr. Daka.
Well, I want to thank the students also, and the turnout tonight has been tremendous. We know that you're all over the building, and we're very aware of the mental health issues that require counselors and PPWs and social workers. We always think that's a very high priority, and the arts are another priority. And we thank you all for being here and speaking about it, and the students have done a really tremendous job, and we're very proud of them.
Mrs. O'Neill.
Yes, I too want to thank everyone for coming out, and I think Zoe sort of summed up what all of us feel. You know, Dr. Smith's $2.8 billion recommended budget still leaves a lot to be desired. We heard the other night the needs for more counselors, more psychologists, more PPWs, more stipends for staff to support our students in extracurricular activities, for lower class sizes, for more security, et cetera, et cetera. I want to point to Angela also Brooks in Prince George's County, who is saying that their county cannot afford the recommendations from Kerwin. You know, we can't afford not to go forward. And I don't think there's an educator or a board member that I know that doesn't support the needs that are identified in Kerwin, particularly the needs around more pre-K. It's a critical need in the county. But I will say, you know, the energy that is exhibited tonight will need to be carried down the street to the county executive and to the county council, because we do not have funding authority. And, you know, from 2008 on, you know, with the recession, we made increased class sizes, and the employees went for 3 years without raises, and we need to make improvements, and it supports all of our kids. So thank you all for the energy that you bring tonight. Carry that energy forward in Annapolis, carry that energy forward in Rockville. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wolf.
I too would like to thank all of the students who came out tonight. All I can say is, wow, we're doing a great job in our schools. It's always amazing to me, and I can always say that we're in good hands in the future. I do want to say to Hana, this is an issue that came up last year. I'm right with you on that. Thank you.
Ms. Silvestri.
No questions. I want to echo what my colleagues have shared with you tonight, and I want to thank you for your advocacy tonight and the advocacy that we'll need for the next coming months. Thank you.
Mr. Tinbyte.
I have no questions tonight, but I did want to thank ZyQwan and Marian in specific. When I was in 8th grade, that was the first time that I testified before anything, and it was extremely nervous for me to do that at that age, and they are doing that in elementary school. That is the product of MCPS. So I want to say thank you.
So I'll just add, I'm very proud of our students, and I am a proud mom. I did not put her up to that, but I am glad to see that our kids can grab hold of an issue and they're passionate about it. This is how it gets started. So just want to thank all of our students for coming out. Dr. Jones for doing so well with our students. I loved hearing from ZyQwan and Marian. And of course, always great to hear from Zoe. She rolled up in here in great fashion. And then Hana as well. So thank you all. And at this time, we will move on to our cluster representatives. We will hear from Benito San Miguel from the Springbrook cluster.
Before I proceed, just want to thank the students as well. And just want to tell the young ones especially that it doesn't get any less nerve-wracking when you're up here as an adult. It just gets easier to accept your mistakes. So good evening, President Evans, Dr. Smith, and distinguished board members. On behalf of the Springbrook cluster and my fellow cluster coordinators, I thank you for the opportunity to provide feedback on the proposed operating budget and express some related concerns. However, it is important to note that not all remarks and our requests or complaints, we actually are grateful for the things you do as well. At least one of our schools, Cannon Road, is operating smoothly, and another acknowledges the Board of Education's initiatives to address economic hardship and achievement gaps. So I'm just going to touch on the schools that submitted substantial commentary. First off, our partners at Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary School wanted to acknowledge and provide some feedback regarding the operating budget and some of the things that are included there. They would like to thank you for your continued support and advocacy for our school communities. Regarding the proposed budget, they are grateful for the external support for families to offset the cost for students unable to repay lunch loans. They're also grateful for the continued support for our youngest learners through early learning opportunities and the continued technological enhancements to the 21st century, to foster 21st century learning. They do have a couple of concerns, and one of them regards curriculum implementation. They're interested in continued central funding for the new curriculum materials with advance notice for required school-based funding needs. There's been a lot of turnaround, obviously, over the past few years with curricula, and they want to stay ahead of that. They are also concerned about additional school-based subs to support the implementation of new curriculum so that their staff have more time to study the new learnings from training at the school. With regards to stability and supports, they're advocating for maintenance of established class sizes. They don't like to see the fluctuation, and the teachers, I think, have a hard time dealing with that sometimes. And they'd also, echoing what a lot of our body here had to say, they advocate for additional counseling and mental health services to support student mental health. Our friends over at Francis Scott Key Middle School have one concern regarding the athletic activity buses. Principal Coleman and his staff inform us that many of their students have difficulty arranging rides for after-school tryouts and practices. The athletic department does not have funds, but MCPS seemingly does not allow the funds to be used for activity buses anyway. It is our understanding that funding should be provided at the middle school level, so we ask for clarification and insight on its availability. Moving on to our friends at Joanne Lilick at Broad Acres Elementary School. For at least the past 4 years, our Springbrook cluster representatives have reported on Lilick's overcrowding, mold in classrooms, and issues with relocatable classrooms. These are all CIP concerns. However, it is important to note that these logistical problems are affecting the way Dr. Barber and his staff recruit and retain highly effective teachers. Furthermore, the conditions are encroaching upon the students' ability to thrive. These CIP issues affect daily operations. If not for resilient, compassionate, and dedicated staff and students, the school would be languishing completely. Just as families seek alternative academic options that are in their best interests, teachers may be inclined to do the same. Finally, our friends at Springbrook High School want to report an issue that they've experienced over the past few years. As we noted previously with Joanne Lilick's remarks, CIP needs often spill over into the operating budget needs. In this case, poor lighting is hampering the administration's ability to administer effective large group testing, AP and IB exams, for example. At last year's operating budget testimony, I relayed Springbrook High School's request to upgrade its auditorium lighting. But now, after 4 years of requests, the lighting remains inadequate for such testing, which is one of the auditorium's core functions. So we are very grateful for everything you have poured into our students and into our system, and we are grateful for the time and attention and the opportunity to speak before you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Kaneisha Roberts from the Blake Cluster.
Hello, good evening. Am I supposed to start the timer?
No.
Okay, you got it. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Kaneisha Roberts. I'm a little nervous. This is my first time doing anything.
Take your time. We don't
PTA.
mind.
So, my name is Kaneisha Roberts, and I'm here representing the Blake cluster. I'm here as an advocate to represent Blake High School, Fairland, Stonegate Elementary, Page, and Burnt Mills. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss the fiscal year 2021 operating budget. We are grateful to see many of the recommendations made in this year's budget, but however, we want to share our support of them. As you will hear from these following thoughts, the needs across our clusters seem to mimic each other. So I'm going to address those and then get into the specifics. So physical, social, and psychological well-being. The recommendation increased in psychological social work resources is one that our students and families would benefit from at the high school level. It can take up to a month to get an appointment at some of the schools, so we would like to suggest that there is an increase of counselors for families and the students. Also, attracting and recruiting, retaining highly qualified, diverse for the workforce for the students in the elementary and high school level will be benefit from a faculty that is reflective of the students served, that children of our community and the children of our community. We are grateful for the attention of the recruitment to new teachers. However, we would like to have an increase in the number of qualified special educators, education teachers who support the needs of students with special needs, and this will allow more of our students with different learning needs to reach their full academic potential. Paraeducators bring immeasurable value to the classroom. Students with disabilities or those who need additional instruction require extra attention in order to help them understand the lessons. So paraeducators help teachers save valuable classroom time. So without the added help, these students could fall behind, and teachers who are already balancing a lot will be overtaxed. We would also like to address the safe and welcoming learning environments, after-school structure, the lack of public transportation for students who are in after-school activities, especially now that they have to be supervised. If practice starts at 5 and you cannot be in the school unsupervised, you might choose to not try out, or not me, but students may choose not to try out. And if there was more of a structure to allow students to stay after school and find rides home through increased activity buses, I guess will increase the ability to help them tap into their own potential and passions for school. The other one is the innovative school model and strategies. The innovation opportunity will hopefully allow our schools to develop ideas and programs that will meet the unique needs of the students. Oh, I have a minute left. Okay. So let me scroll back down. I'll get into the specifics. So for Blake High School, as you heard during the CIP process, we are a signature arts program, so we would like to keep this program as a jewel in the community, and we ask for expenses that tend to, I'm sorry, let me just read it. We are in the need of supplies and materials to continue to develop talents of our young artists, singers, actors, and actresses, and musicians of all types. Expenses tend to be higher at Blake than other schools given the expectation of our signature program shows and productions. Like all of our schools, Chromebooks are essential for our students to complete their necessary testing and supply the time to them for supply the time for them to take the test. Fairlands is grateful for the support of their social emotional special needs service program. However, they would appreciate continuation of finalization needed for the classroom support, as well as Chromebooks, and the increased amount of training for paraeducators. Stonegate and William Tyler Page are both of our local Center Enriched Studies. They're thankful. I think I just ran out of time.
We have your written testimony.
Okay.
So we'll have all your comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. At this time, we will hear from Collins Odongo from Paint Branch Cluster.
All right, good evening, everybody. Congratulations, Zoe and the team. You've done a wonderful job. In fact, that is a great indictment to the board and the community and us at large. It's unfortunate that that has happened, but I want to say this. I'll not duplicate because the students have done wonderfully well. They've said everything. There are only some few key highlights that I wanted to make here that cut across the Paint Branch. I'm here on behalf of the Paint Branch cluster, but there are a lot of cross-cutting issues, so I'll not really duplicate. There seems to be a laxity in terms of professional development. And I think the board needs to start prioritizing some of these things so that capital projects and immediate emergency things are dealt with, like the pads. Like when they highlight things like pads, those are emergency issues. Issues of mental health is very, very predominant in our schools. So the board needs to begin to prioritize. In terms of mobilization of resources, I don't think the executive has the power to make any decision apart from being the custodian of the finances. So the board needs to begin to be advocates too. So that those who are stumbling blocks, I think the society needs to replace them with Zoes. Zoe can make a very good executive with some support. So let's know the stumbling blocks so that as time goes for election, they need to be voted out. Because children cannot wait to be developed, to be mentored, and to be given opportunity. Today, everybody saw the mentorship and the leadership of the children. In fact, they summed up everything. In fact, we would have just packed and gone and went back home because they summed up everything clearly and very articulately. In terms of the schools, there are specific schools that there are three issues that came across all the schools that we represent. The paraeducators needs to be empowered because they're doing a lot of work. There's a lot of duplication. People are doing everything. They are sometimes teach, sometimes they do other things. So I think they need to be empowered. In terms of curriculum, I think the board needs to empower the implementation of the curriculum because it's being done haphazardly, so that at least people are equipped to know what they're supposed to do in terms of mainstreaming and implementation. In terms of the specifics for the schools, I would say Beneka, Paint Branch, everything seems to be cutting across staffing, capacity building, and of course, the counselors. Additional counselors for counseling. I think that is cutting across board for everybody. So please, if you can retire and prioritize all this and take key highlights of this and implement them, we'd really appreciate. Last but not least, the school seems to be calling for what we call partnership. All these things you cannot do alone. Everybody's doing something in the corner in the community. Can you begin to start mobilizing resources? Not everything must be budgetary inclined. We can mobilize even donations to support schools. Use the PTA. PTA has very overwhelming structure that works very well. Data, documentation, mobilization structure. Can you begin to partner with the existing structure so that we can work and fulfill some of these things? Otherwise, it's becoming like a routine, and that is one of the key feedback that I got from the teachers and everybody, that testimony is becoming like a song. We are soon making poetry out of testimonies. Because some people come 5 years, 10 years down the line, and I think that is not being nice to our children. So if we can take notice of those and work together with the schools, but I want to congratulate you because they're doing something. But you can do more. That's what we are saying. So don't look at us as complainants. We have to bug you, and we have to hold you accountable. But you're doing something, but if you can do better than what you're doing so that we achieve together, we would appreciate. Now, in terms of maths, those are subjects that are fairly specialized. So when you send people outside there to relieve the other teachers, they need to be equipped. They need to be trained. They need to be oriented so that the implementation is so seamless. Otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, the student did very well. They summed everything. And I think if we can act on what they've summed up, I think we'll even need to take one testimony every 2 years. If all these things could be implemented. And Zoe, please, you have my vote. Let me know which board position you're standing and I'll campaign for you. Because today you've articulated leadership to the highest level more than a lot of people. And we really appreciate the teachers who have mentored the students because we've seen high level of leadership today demonstrated. So please, if you can pull together and do all this so that we make this testimony for future as highlights of achievement that we've made and what we are working towards. Otherwise, thank you very much and have a good and Merry Christmas belated for those who I didn't see. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Kim Kaminsky from the Damascus cluster. And so I don't see her, I'll come back. Jane Learman from Poolsville cluster. Push it. Yep.
Good evening, President Evans, Dr. Smith, members of the Board of Education, MCPS leadership. My name is Jane Learman, and I proudly represent the small and mighty Poolsville cluster. We are John Poole Middle, Monocacy Elementary, Poolsville Elementary, and Poolsville High Schools. Our cluster proudly supports the values and academic programming that is outlined in the superintendent's recommended FY 2021 operating budget. First, thank you for the additional security staff we requested last year. Increasing our staffing has had a huge impact that was visible from the first day of school. Our science building has full-time security in and out around the facility, and morning student arrival is much safer now that we have staff to cover both parking lots and the entrance of the school. We're also very grateful for your help while we advocated for a full-time SRO. Officer Marcus Roberts has become a very popular member of our community. He has a great rapport with the kids and a wonderful relationship with our administration. He even volunteered to be a judge at the student talent show. Officer Roberts has earned the trust of our staff and students, which will keep our school much more secure. Now for new staffing requirements, and they're very specific and directly from the principals. Monocacy Elementary requests that the part-time staff development position become full-time. This is a critical need because staff require support as we roll out the new math and reading curricula. The school also requests 4 paraeducator hours to support large class sizes and special education students. Last year, Monocacy's 6-hour special ed paraeducator position was cut from 6 hours to 0 hours. Some hours must be allocated to Monocacy to ensure that students are receiving the support that they need. Poolsville Elementary needs paraeducator support for kindergarten and first grade. PES has a high teacher-to-student ratio. This is challenging when teachers are working alone in very large classrooms with very little students. Please consider a part-time paraeducator or allow PES and other non-focus schools to creatively staff their schools so that the students can get the attention that they need. John Poole Middle would like to keep staffing consistent with growing enrollment. Teacher staffing numbers need to be maintained, as there are new developments in Poolsville and student population at JPMS has grown steadily over the past 5 years. Now for Poolsville High School. We request 2 additional teaching positions because many of our graduate requirement courses are over capacity due to unexpected growth in the cluster. This past year, we've received a number of summer enrollments, which put an undue strain on our class sizes, so we're having to make tough choices. 2 extra teachers will also allow us to use release time for the heads of houses. This is the time that they plan field trips, communicate with parents and community partners, and lead instructional teams in planning and developing high-level interdisciplinary instruction and assessments. To maximize our academic programs, the principal tries to give all the teams release time for effective interdisciplinary instruction, but we're not always able to do that because of other needs in the school. We also would like an additional 0.5 counseling hours for a total of 5 full-time counseling positions. We currently have 4.5 counseling positions that need to be upgraded to 5. A part-time counselor is not helpful when a student is having a crisis. ZyQwan and Marian said everything else, so I think you know where I'm going with this, because they said it better than I could. We also need additional secretarial staffing that's commensurate with other MCPS schools. Poolsville High School has 2.5 secretarial positions. I'm baffled because I work in much smaller middle schools as a sub that have the same amount of staffing, even though schools are a lot smaller. We also have a part-time attendant secretary at Poolsville High School, when almost all other schools have a full-time attendant secretary. High schools have challenges. Kids are leaving early, they're coming in late for good reasons. We have field trips that, are more difficult to keep, where it's more difficult to keep track of the kids. And so a part-time attendance secretary does not fully meet the needs of our students, and it also limits our ability to accurately report mandated attendance data on a daily basis. We'd also like to change our part-time magnet secretary to full-time. The good news is that the choice programs have been expanded. A lot more kids are applying, but the bad news is that the workload has increased. So we would appreciate that part-time position to be made full-time. All these changes would basically only add 0.5 hours to our secretarial bottom line, from 2.5 to 2.5 to 3. I'm out of time. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Has Kim Kaminsky from the Damascus cluster arrived? Okay. So now we will hear from Kristen Erdem from the Magruder cluster.
Dr. Smith and members of the board, thank you for your time this evening. My name is Kristen Erdheim, and I, along with Deidre Apple, represent the Magruder cluster. We appreciate the commitment to continual improvement as evidenced in the operating budget for 2021, but our cluster recognizes many great things about this, but brings following ideas to the operating budget that we believe can make our system even better. The quality of instruction continues to be a concern to us, mainly at the high school level, but also throughout our cluster. At the high school level, the AP scores at Magruder were quite low, and through the MPIA last year, we know the grades students achieve in class, and their AP test scores do not always align very well. There needs to be a better way to assess these AP teachers if the students are continuing to do well in the class, but not on the AP exam. We also realize there's a teacher shortage nationwide, which has affected MCPS. However, this should not be a reason to hire teachers that do not meet the high standards that are typical of Montgomery County teachers. Thank you. We need to do better vetting these new teachers and making sure that they truly are a good fit for the position and for our schools. Mainly at the elementary school level, we would like to request more paraeducator hours. Paras provide a great deal of support, thank you, at lunch and recess, as well as in the classrooms where they provide instructional support,
for the teachers and where they address educational, behavioral, and social emotional needs. We need more para hours to support the full scope of needs for our school community. We also request more ESOL teachers. Most of the schools in our cluster have a very high ESOL population, and we'd recommend an allotment of 1 teacher per grade in those elementary schools with higher concentrations of ESOL learners. Students at all grade levels require ESOL support, and we owe it to all of them to provide the staffing each school requires to meet those needs. Flower Hill Elementary School would also like to request a full-time school psychologist since theirs currently splits time between 2 schools. As one of the social emotional special education services centers, they have a significant need for a full-time school psychologist because that person is responsible for evaluations, participating in IEP programs or meetings, and meeting other needs of the students, so they request a full-time psychologist to support those needs. We have some concerns relating to Algebra 1 with the curriculum. Beginning with students entering high school this current year, and thereafter, any students who do not successfully pass PARCC with a 4 or 5 do not meet the high school graduation requirements. This is very concerning that we have so many middle schoolers working several years above grade level, but still having to do extracurricular work to meet the MSDE graduation requirement. We've got to do this better. We need to create viable on and off ramps for students. We've done a great job of creating these opportunities for them to accelerate, but we need to do a better job creating a graceful off ramp for the same students to decelerate should they need to. In addition, we think it's time to address science. Parents are consistently complaining about the poor quality of the science curriculum with little time allocated at the elementary level and few opportunities for experiential learning. With regards to after-school programs in the high school, now that the supervision requirements are different and that the athletes need to be supervised at all times after school, this has created some difficulty for the sports teams where the coach is unable to be at the school right at 2:30. Suggestion to alleviate this is to have the high school media center available to all students starting at 2:30, specifically athletes, but to others as well beyond the 2:30 bell. For mental health, as part of the Be Well 365 campaign, mindfulness programs have been rolled out in all of our cluster schools and seem to be taking off really well in most of them. However, at Magruder, there was an introduction of a period at the beginning of the school year to incorporate this program. And it was stopped after only a few days because of scheduling issues. The program has still not been reinstated, and we're now almost 5 months in. This is not acceptable. We would like to see this program brought back in whatever fashion will work for the majority of students as soon as possible. We have a few concerns relating to school lunches. One is that the quality of school lunches is severely lacking. There are very few choices, and the options offered are not very appealing. Many of the cafeteria lunch options are consumed only by those who have no choice. And according to many of the students, there is a shame associated with those receiving farms because only those who actually need the cafeteria food are the ones that eat it. So this is a problem we think should be addressed. In addition, for those schools in our cluster that receive free breakfast, the choices are very limited, and a packaged iced cinnamon bun is hardly a nutritious way for elementary school students to start their day. There is also so much waste because everyone in the school is provided breakfast, but not everyone takes it. And therefore, it is, we would like to eliminate the waste. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We will now open it up for board questions. I don't see any lights. Ms. Wolf.
I have a question about the lighting at Springbrook High School. I know that they came in last year and testified about that issue, and now it seems to be affecting their ability to do testing. So could I get some information or a report on that?
Yeah, so this came up in the CIP testimony in November, and the lighting in the Springbrook Auditorium is designed for auditorium theater performances. So we are exploring what it would take to swap out all of the lights at Springbrook and upgrade it. The auditorium, when initially planned, was not designed as a testing center. So that's something that we're still looking at as a follow-up from the capital hearings in November.
And my second question is, are we due for an update on the rollout of 365, Be Well 365? Because this is the second time that I have heard that there is a school that is not really carrying out the program.
Dr. Smith?
We can provide that for you. We provided, last spring was, and so we'll provide an update for you.
Thank you. Mrs. Modrowski?
Yeah, one question. I had heard someone mention, I think it was at Blake, about not having enough Chromebooks and stuff. And during the CIP hearings, I'd asked about a technology inventory. So I just wanted to kind of refresh that request so that we can see who's got what kind of technology at which schools. And then the other thing that, it's not really a question, Dr. Smith, it's more of just an overall concern. I mean, obviously we hear from all of our schools about the importance and the needed supports for mental health, but this is the second time someone has, and I was going to go through my bag and look for the piece of paper that I'd written the last one down on. I wasn't sure if it was Blake 2 times or Blair, but the at least a month-long wait for mental health supports. Can you just elaborate, or have you heard anything about this? Is there any, should we be doing something like more with making referrals to the county? Or I would hate to think that someone is struggling with something in their lives and has to wait over at least a month to be seen.
We have had many discussions about the wait for referral services in the county. There's just literally a lack of professionals to meet the needs of our students, and our family, student and family services folks talk with me often about that difficulty in making sure that we can refer students out. In terms of students receiving services at school, that's not typical what I hear, but we also have to remember that we don't provide real psychological services at school except in very specific programs and with specific students given their needs. And so that's an interesting and difficult situation we're going through right now in public education about how to make sure that we have the services on site, how to make sure we can refer students out, and what the schools actually can and cannot accomplish in this area of psychological well-being. So.
Well, I know we don't have enough funding for all of the supports that we want and everything. I appreciate that we're talking to the county some about the social worker stuff, but if there's anything that we can do as an organization or whatever to help talk to the county about these issues and concerns, please feel free to let us know.
Well, we absolutely need to continue to build out within our county the infrastructure so that when we refer a student or a family out, that they have somewhere to go, and that has been a challenge.
Okay, seeing no more lights, we will go on to our next group of speakers. We will hear from Gumel Lu from the Wooten Cluster.
Good evening, Dr. Smith, Board of Education members. My name is Gumel Liu, and I am one of the Wooten Cluster coordinators. Thank you for the opportunity to present this testimony on this fiscal year 2021 operating budget. I would like to start with expressing our support to MCPS's commitment in preparing all students to thrive in their future. Every student should be encouraged and nurtured to reach his or her full potential, regardless of their race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status. All means all. No student shall be left behind or left aside. Tonight, I will comment on several areas of concern for the Wooten Cluster. We ask that you consider these concerns when you discuss and finalize the operating budget. Special education is an integral part of our school system. The Wooten Cluster hosts several special education programs. We appreciate the addition of new positions, including special educators, paraeducators, speech pathologists, physical therapists, and social workers in the proposed budget. However, the teamwork for special education goes beyond these professionals directly working with the students. It also requires support from other staff and student administrators. staff allocation based solely on student enrollment does not meet the administrative need for schools that host special education programs. In particular, to 5th Elementary School. It's a single administrator school due to its relatively low student enrollment. However, the school has a large number of staff than some schools that have higher student enrollment because it hosts a special education learning center. Administrative need for special education programs should be factored in when making staff allocation decisions. We ask that an assistant principal position be added to 5th Elementary School to meet its administrative need. There are also concerns over the proposed increase in the duration of preschool education program from 5 hours to 6 hours. Due to time constraints, Ms. Alicia Rose from Stone Mill Elementary School will testify on this matter later tonight. Another important area is the implementation of the new elementary and middle school curriculum. Last year, there were schools that experienced a shortage of supplies, including math kits required for new curriculum. As we continue to implement the new curriculum, we ask that all schools be provided with sufficient supplies for all grade levels, including math kits, reading books, and Chromebooks. We continue to emphasize the importance of professional development for our teachers and recruiting qualified substitute teachers. We appreciate MCPS's effort in STEM education. However, the S tends to be small in STEM. Science is often under-resourced and weakly supported. For instance, high schools have limited science elective offerings. There are very few courses in earth sciences. Science education requires facilities, including laboratories, consumables, and access to observation and experimentation. We would like to call on MCPS to make adequate provisions for such operational expenses, as well as professional development and training for teachers to be able to effectively deliver instruction and inspire and motivate our students towards science. Ultimately, education is of no merit unless students are available and capable of receiving it. Mental and emotional health and wellness is essential for learning and the personal growth of our students. Activities to support mental health and wellness, as well as training for counselors, need adequate budgetary support. In particular, we ask that funds for wellness and mindfulness resources be made available to Travella Elementary School. And the last, but definitely not least, I want to say thank you to all the teachers. You are the best, and thank you for the attention.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Rodney Peel from the Richard Montgomery Cluster.
Good evening, Board of Education and Superintendent Smith. We'd like more funding in the operating budget, mostly for more staff in schools. Thank you. I could end there, but I'll go on with a few details that's in my testimony. First, I'd like to echo what Mayor Newton and City Council Member Ashton said earlier, as well as Richard Montgomery student Hana Looney, who gave a memorable testimony tonight. We know there's been some dispute about how MCPS is spending money that we get from outside sources for earmarked for focused populations, but we urge you to make it clear that we're spending all those as intended. We also broadly encourage MCPS to increase staffing levels faster than the rate of growth in the size of our student population. Specifically for elementary schools, one thing I wanted to highlight, College Gardens Elementary School has, I think, the only remaining part-day Head Start program in MCPS for 4-year-olds. I think most of the programs were converted to full day. Somehow that one didn't get that done. So MCPS gets $4 million a year or so for Head Start from the federal government. College Gardens has the space. It has the students. We just need to fund the staff to be there a couple more hours. So we specifically asked for that funding. I also want to bring up Springbrook Elementary School. As you know, we support MCPS dedicating more operating fund resources to focus in Title I schools. One way to better meet the needs of our most challenged students would be to revise the allocation formula for counselors. We know that Title I and focus schools do get additional counselors, but even more needed. So do consider additional allocations based on ESOL level 1 and 2 students and the number of crisis referrals. The former would acknowledge the trauma and stress experienced by our non-native English-speaking population, often foreign-born, while the latter would directly relate to the mental health services needed at particular schools. And just last week at the MCPS-MCC PTA Mental Health Fair, we heard that there were 2,000 referrals to the county's crisis center in the school year, and that number is increasing 100 to 200 students a year. Mental health is wellness, is not just diagnosis and treatment. So having folks in our schools will help all of our students and their mental health wellness. I wanted to bring up one a middle school issue. When MCPS sort of reallocated students from the middle school magnet programs to local school cohorts, MCPS made a promise to provide magnet level programming in those local schools. And for the last couple of years, we've had a very well received global humanities course in local middle schools and an applied IM math course. I think the IM math course hasn't been as successful in addition, and so we would urge you to dedicate funding to develop a new middle school science class modeled on one of the courses at our middle school magnet programs and offer this at the local level for those cohorts. For high schools, we'd like to see MCPS put more effort into block scheduling. In particular, this would help our IB diploma programs, which are growing, as you know, where the additional international standards leave students few opportunities to take electives in 11th and 12th grades. And speaking of IB, one of the strengths of the Richard Montgomery IB program is the opportunity to enhance IB course options with AP classes. We think the other IB schools should have those options too. Also, it's important for middle school students to understand, say, the foreign language expectations of the IB program. So we do urge you to provide more guidance to fifth graders even and their families about how middle school course selection can put them on a trajectory to more opportunities in high school. I'll end with a couple comments in general about the school system. We support more funding for ESOL at every level, particularly in the staffing. It's my understanding that we have started a new approach to how course credits work for English language learners in high school. So to meet those demands, our high schools also need more staffing, particularly for co-teachers in science and social studies classes to help support the ESOL population. And we support restoration of central office staff focused on ESOL. Finally, as for the additional Portuguese translator, I say muito obrigado. Thank you very much. And in conclusion, I'll reiterate staffing, staffing, more staffing. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Christopher Bowerman from the Watkins Mill Cluster.
President Evans, Dr. Smith, members of the Board of Education, good evening. My name is Chris Bowerman, and I am the cluster coordinator for the Watkins Mill Cluster. As always, I am thankful to be a voice for the Watkins Mill Cluster, and I appreciate you listening to me tonight. We view these hearings as an opportunity to raise your awareness of the Watkins Mill Cluster, our unique place in the MCPS system, and our specific needs. Our cluster is not newly developed or resource-rich. Montgomery Village's original plan was to provide a community across the economic spectrum. Today it is a complex mix of mid and low income neighborhoods when compared to the surrounding areas. There is redevelopment beginning in the area, which we hope will improve our community, but we need our schools to be developed and maintained as well. As I told you in the past November, our cluster is one of the most transient in the county, with a large portion of students being members of shared housing families. As our enrollments increased, our teachers struggle to educate children who have moved many times. Our elementary cluster ESOL rate is almost twice the rate of the county average, with many of our students being English language learners. And every school in our cluster has a farms rate of over 50%. This past November, we stood before you to advocate our cluster's capital improvement needs, and we are grateful to see those needs taken seriously with the South Lake and Neelsville renovation projects. Support at the beginning of a project and action across the years it will take to complete are two different things, however, and we are counting on your support and continued support and action on these important and necessary endeavors. The planned renovations of South Lake and Neelsville is wonderful news, but the completion dates are years away. Watkins Mill Cluster consists of 7 schools, all with maintenance issues needing immediate attention today. These schools are aged, worn, and neglected. A quick summary of the problems include overhead lightings that are not covered, crumbling ceiling tiles, classrooms and corridors that need repainting, crusted old faucets and water fountains with foul-tasting water that should be replaced, broken doorknobs and locks that are security concerns, flooring repairs and furniture replacement. Several of our media centers are in need of new furniture. HVAC systems that basically have our students and faculty either freezing or sweating depending on their location. And though it may seem superficial, the press box at Watkins Mill High School is 30 years old now and in need of replacement. Safety is of course our #1 priority. I mentioned in November, of the 7 schools in our cluster, only 2 have secured entrances. We've repeatedly requested this be fixed. We've actually recently heard that some of our schools are slated to have their entrances secured this summer, and we appreciate that and appeal to you to deliver on this schedule, but to all of our schools. Security cameras, key card entrances, and repairs to phone intercom systems are also needed. Lastly, South Lake, Watkins Mill, and Whetstone Elementary schools do not have crossing guards to escort students across the roads outside the schools. All 3 schools are already in high traffic areas, and the previously mentioned redevelopment in the area will most certainly increase traffic on the roads the schools reside. However, last night at around 10 o'clock, I did hear that Whetstone Elementary is expecting a crossing guard in 3 weeks, so thank you very much. But I'd like to see the other 2 schools have one as well. Our cluster is dealing with a high staff turnover and teacher retention issues. Many students in our middle and high school experience classes lacking consistent quality instruction because teaching positions are unfilled. Multiple short-term substitutes do not provide stability, and qualified long-term substitutes who are subject certified are hard to find. Students exposed to this type of educational environment may fall weeks behind schedule. Most upsetting is these students are expected to take the county and state assessments as scheduled and bear the consequence when they don't meet performance benchmarks due to inadequate instruction. Our world is now a high-tech place. Several of our schools still lack basic technology and equipment. We asked for Promethean boards, Chromebooks, iPads, other technologies to enhance education. Support training and repair for these technologies is also important. Lastly, privacy, data collection, and vetting of applications for both faculty and students is essential. We want our children as safe online as they are in the classroom. Cannot adequately put the rest in 5 minutes, so thank you very much for your listening to me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Kim Hayden from the Clarksburg cluster.
Good evening. I represent the Clarksburg cluster tonight. The proposed operating budget illustrates a commitment to all MCPS stakeholders. We would like to emphasize areas of the budget that are priorities for the Clarksburg cluster, but should be considered for all schools. Specifically tonight, I will advocate for safety and security, mental health supports, teacher allocations, and workload. Safety and security are of utmost importance in our schools. The addition of rovers for elementary schools is a great start to addressing concerns at the elementary school level where core teams are stretched so thin. Funding proposed for the bus tablet program should be a priority to better monitor where our buses are and who is on them. Additional security in middle and high schools should be a top priority as well. We currently operate off a base formula and increase staffing according to unique conditions at each school. Before you determine allocations for security, please visit the schools during the changing of classes. Even once the boundary changes are implemented next school year, Clarksburg High School will be significantly overcrowded. We can't focus on the number of students alone. At Clarksburg, we must consider that they're traveling through overcrowded hallways in a building never intended to serve as a high school. Clarksburg currently has the highest number of portables in the county. The physical location of these portables makes it impossible for limited security staff on site to monitor effectively nearly 1,000 students traveling in and out of those portables during each transition. Despite several requests, there are still no security cameras in place at the exits to the portables. Before determining the security allocations for each school, please allow the staff to show you the unique safety and security challenges in their buildings. We heard testimony after testimony about the need for mental health supports in our schools. Our students must be available for learning in order to reach their full potential. Over the past few years, school staff have worked diligently to become trauma-sensitive educators. Despite best intentions and application of strategies, they simply are not mental health professionals. The allocations of school psychologists and school counselors are significantly lower than the recommendations. The National Association of School Psychologists recommends a ratio of 1 school psychologist to 500 to 700 students. The current status in MCPS is around 1 to 1,700 students. And the ratio needs to be part of the system's increase in staffing when a new school or program is added in MCPS. The American School Counseling Association recommends no more than 1 to 250 allocation for school counselors across all levels. Yet our elementary school allocations look more like 1 to 550 to 700 students. In both cases, your ratios are well over the recommendations, but the staff aren't primarily used to provide mental health services to students. So school psychologists are primarily used for testing. Elementary school counselors are often consumed with paperwork, meetings, and providing support to administration with student discipline investigations. The superintendent talks about the influx of students coming through our international office. These students are not anticipated in enrollment projections. Often they arrive with interruption to education and sometimes are unaccompanied minors. Our ESOL transition counselors are needed to best determine which services they need. Our PPWs and parent community coordinators are also integral in this work. We must make it a priority in order to ensure our students are available for learning. We must get true mental health services to our students. They depend on us. Lastly, I would like to address teacher allocations and workload. The Clarksburg cluster was impacted by boundary changes in the up-county boundary study. We hold the Board of Education to your word when you say the resources will follow the students. Staffing allocations to schools must reflect the equity initiatives of the county. Our reassigned students are counting on you to ensure staffing and programs are made available to support their needs. There is a negative impact when inaccurate enrollment projections don't align with school-level data and articulations. My written testimony includes a sample from one of our middle schools to highlight some of those existing discrepancies. Using these inaccurate projections to allocate staffing is problematic. For years, school staff have done more with less, and we are seeing the fallout as many of our staff hit their breaking points. With the rollout of new literacy, math, and science curricula, Be Well 365, and more, we must support school staff as they adapt to the changes. Reading specialists and math content coaches should be in place in every elementary school to support teachers in the rollout of the curriculum. They must be provided with appropriate summer hours to inventory materials and prepare for the upcoming school year. Resource and staff development teachers should remain in place to support continued professional growth of staff in all schools. Schools should have dedicated school test coordinators to allow content specialists and staff development teachers to do their job as they're intended to do. The rest is here. Thank you.
At this time, thank you. We will go to individuals and organizations, and next up is Diego Yuburu.
Buenas noches. The Black and Brown Coalition would like to start by thanking the Board of Education and the Superintendent for the very important and effective work they have done over the past years to make MCPS a more equitable school system. Your commitment to equity included the release of a resource study last fall, bringing to light enduring and systemic patterns of inequities that greatly impact Black and Brown students. While we see some positive steps in the budget released by MCPS, it falls very short relative to the system-wide changes we have advocated for. We know that negotiations between MCPS and the associations are ongoing, and that the core of our asks, including the request to create incentives to recruit and retain effective and diverse educators in our highest need schools, depend 100% on the outcomes of those negotiations. Meanwhile, the communities most impacted by systemic educational inequities are in complete darkness. Is progress being made? Are their interests being placed front and center? We do not know. It is pitch black out there, pitch black. Our families live in a chronic state of desperation. Year after year, they witness how their children's dreams, hopes, and potential are crushed by the weight of injustice. So Black and brown communities have banded together to say enough is enough. Building upon past efforts, a significant shift towards equity must take place starting with next year's budget and with the contracts. All of you, board members, superintendent, and associations, took a pledge the night of October 15th to support the Black and Brown Coalition. And our asks, you promised to put students, particularly Black, brown, and poor, in the forefront when making decisions. The Board of Education sent us a letter to the coalition that said, stating that accountability to our community is critical to ensure we live up to our values and beliefs. You also wrote that the operating budget is a moral document and that the coalition's asks would be visible in your FY21 budget. We take your pledge to heart. You are the light for those who struggle in darkness. We urge you to keep the coalition's asks front and center as negotiations move forward, and we implore you, the Board of Education, to continue pushing so that the version of the budget that you will approve clearly reflect that the students who need them the most will get our strongest educators in front of them. For generations, our community's needs and interests have been mostly disregarded. We have now placed our trust and faith in you. We hope you will be an inflection point in a long history of neglect, and for that, you have our full support. Thank you very much.
You. At this time, we will hear from Ms. Ruby Rubens.
Good evening. I'm Ruby Rubens, and I'm speaking on behalf of the 1977 Two Action Group. Mr. Arthur Williams is here, who is our chair, but because of his vision limitations, I will be giving the presentation. The proposed budget increase of 4.5% in our view is adequate only if you have more specific plans to use the funds very differently to address the disparities evident in much of the research data you have uncovered in the past few years. As a member of the Black and Brown Coalition, the 1977 Two Action Group strongly supports the coalition's asks, which are not unreasonable and only what other populations have expected and demanded for their children all along. We believe that the data clearly shows us where the gaps are, but the strategic accelerators and new initiatives in the budget do not show specifically how we're going to target to address these gaps. We are grateful for your actions over the past few years to clearly produce data to support research needed to address existing disparities. Unfortunately, these very transparent and much-needed efforts have created a very toxic environment for us to make progress. It is heartbreaking to hear some belief that students and families are unworthy of MCPS efforts, that students and families, especially African American, do not value education and are lazy, disruptive, and that the problem is immigrant families. Comments even go so far as to state the percentage of single-parent homes as the problem. This is the kind of ugliness that stands in the way of progress in our county. I applaud the board and Dr. Smith for your ability to stand strong and do what is best for all students in face of such vitriol. We're asking for clarity on a few of our other concerns. An explanation of the 3.5 FTE positions for the Restorative Justice Program. Is not the RAND program still ongoing? What progress has been made in reducing the suspensions, disruptive behavior, and classroom and school climate that would justify this? Part of the response seems to be Another response seems to be an additional consulting teacher to provide full-time support and not for novice and unperforming teachers. This is not a response to the level of need. Please provide clarity on budget, high-level, intensive, system-wide professional development, specifically in view of the curriculum implementation and other initiatives. In our discussion, I'm going to skip around, but please pay attention to the other items. In our discussion with you on the new curriculum rollout, we stressed the need for grade-level reading proficiency by 3rd grade. How does the budget support this need, especially since the English language arts curriculum needs to be more integrated to ensure success in other areas, especially as the math curriculum has a lot of text? You stated that it was a collaborative budget development process. We included a list of stakeholders. We ask you to revamp this process and make sure that there is a wider perspective at the table. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now at the section of board questions. Mrs. O'Neill?
So can you give us clarification on the RAND grant and restorative justice? It can be, at the budget work session, but if you would just be prepared.
Absolutely.
I don't see any other lights. Could, Dr. Zuckerman, could you address the question that was raised about the crossing guards? I know that's out of our control, but could you speak about that? I've been to South Lake and that area is really busy. Can you talk about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, we've had extensive conversation with the police department around South Lake, and just that particular area. So it's on their radar screen. We're obviously working with them on that. There has not been a crossing guard allocated this time. We have to work with the principal on creating enhanced operational plans for arrival and dismissal, which is one thing that we have to do, and we've been working with the school on that. So it's just an ongoing conversation with the police department who partner with us in areas where we need to add crossing guards.
Okay. Can we get an update when we get further information about what you're working through with them? Thank you. At this time, we will move to, another light, I didn't see it. Ms. Silvestri.
I just wanted to see, Dr. Smith, if there's anything that you can say about the Black and Brown Coalition's asks and where they are in the budget or not in the budget, and if you can't comment on that, that's fine.
No, I think, as the speakers have said tonight, some of the issues are, at least in part or in a very large part, in our negotiations process around incentivizing educators, leaders, and teachers to stay in schools that have the highest impacted poverty in them. That's really a critical issue, and I think one that we all agree that needs to be addressed in our community, in our state, and our nation. I think the issue comes down to the devil's in the details, and the organizations all working together to really bring about good first steps in making this happen, both for leaders and classroom teachers and teacher leaders. So administrators, classroom teachers, and teacher leaders, incentivizing that. Around providing opportunities, there's opportunity, if you look at that resource study, issues across schools, and that's where it really comes down to how do we incentivize and create the environment that people will make long-term commitments to schools that have the highest levels of poverty. But there are also issues within schools, and that goes to teacher assignment, and it goes to access for students to our most rigorous programming. We have worked hard in the last 3 years, and we've seen some good shifts. I have a lot of numbers that I've shared out everywhere in creating greater access to most rigorous programming for more children. Earlier, I think the Magruder cluster commented on on-ramps and off-ramps around Algebra 1. That's 7th grade Algebra 1 last year. The numbers were actually that 3,200 students were engaged in it. 500 didn't meet the state standard because the state standard went from a 3 on the park to a 4. But those children were still highly successful by and large and are already further ahead because they were in algebra and because they experienced that. So retaking Algebra 1 or having supplemental Algebra 1 experiences is not a bad thing, but many, many more children across the middle school, students of color and students in poverty, have experienced Algebra 1 in the last 3 years, and the vast majority of them are doing very well. So for example, in 2016, we had 5,040 students in this county who completed Algebra 1 by the end of 8th grade. 5,040. This past year, it was 8,600 successfully completed Algebra 1 by the standard of a 3 or higher. And the vast majority of those 3,600 students were students of color and students in poverty. I could go on, but it's going to get very late here. So the assignment of teachers is also an administrative and a teacher leader question. And when we look at our structure about how we assign teachers, our most skilled teachers working with our students who need the most support, and we work with our associations and our teachers and our administrators, school building administrators around these issues, because those are critical. So opening up access is absolutely critical, whether you're talking about more pre-K seats, whether you're talking about elementary rigorous programming, middle school rigorous programming, or options in the high school. And so there's a lot of movement around those things. Some of it is budgetary, some of it is the way we've done our business for many years, our practice, and some of it will be solved at the negotiations table.
Thank you. Dr. Daka.
Yeah, we did hear a little bit from some of the persons that presented on staff development, and also consulting teachers. Could you just do a little teeny rundown of what consulting teachers do and how that affects the training?
So consulting teachers are assigned to each of our new teachers or any teacher that is having difficulty meeting one or more of the standards in the evaluation program. Right now, I'd have to ask Ms. Diamond for the exact number of consulting, number of consulting teachers in the budget, and the addition of 2 more is the proposal. And that number goes up year by year because some years we hire 800 teachers, some years we hire 1,000 teachers, some years we hire 1,200 teachers, and that's gone up and down. So we're looking at how we can get some stability in that number over so that the caseload of the teachers who work in those consulting positions are more stable and regular from year to year. Do you have that number, Ms. Diamond?
We are pulling it for you.
Okay. So that's the current status of what they do is work very closely with new teachers. Some new teachers are essentially exited or given lots of autonomy by the middle of their first year, some at the end of their first year, some into their second year. It just depends on the teacher's development as they join our school system.
I think we have
I just
60,
yeah.
number of 29 currently.
29, so it will go to 31.
Teachers right now?
Right, and this year they're supporting 613 teachers and 63 underperforming teachers.
550 are new.
Right.
Mrs. O'Neill, did you have any other questions? Okay.
We have 29, we're going to 31.
Okay. All right, so seeing no more lights, we will continue on with our next group of speakers. We will now hear from Sophia E. Lopez.
Buenas tardes, estimada Junta y Superintendente Dr. Smith. Mi nombre es Sofía Eloísa López y soy madre de 4 estudiantes de Montgomery County. 2 de ellos ya se graduaron y 2 de ellos siguen en las escuelas. También soy miembro de la Coalición Latina Afroamericana de Equidad Nacional. El motivo por el cual estoy aquí es para agradecerles el interés y la atención que están prestando a la problemática académica de nuestros estudiantes de Montgomery County. Sin embargo, los números propuestos no son los que esperamos, ya que es un monto grande pero sin enfoque en los estudiantes afroamericanos y latinos. Como madre de chicos asistentes a las escuelas, se le da importancia de tener suficientes profesores con experiencias y diversos que estén altamente capacitados. Para mí, basándose en la experiencia que mi familia ha tenido con el sistema escolar, puedo decir que es muy notable la diferencia entre sí. Mi hija mayor fue a Hubert y se graduó de Winston Churchill High School con muy buenas notas y recibió apoyo necesario. Mis dos hijos siguientes tuvieron la oportunidad de asistir a Beverly Farms Elementary School, donde nuestros maestros con alta experiencia enseñan, y después nos movimos a esta zona y los chicos tuvieron que moverse también de la escuela. La diferencia es enorme. Las escuelas donde hay más profesores con mucha más experiencia y donde los profesores son más novatos, los estudiantes tienen más atención y apoyo en las escuelas con maestros experimentados suficientemente. Por ejemplo, uno de mis hijos en 4º grado fue diagnosticado con un problema de atención y gracias a los maestros que identificaron la seña rápidamente y pudieron crear un plan para el éxito de mi hijo. Esto siempre se me ha quedado en mente, ya que no sabemos cuál hubiese sido el resultado de todo si él estuviese con maestros con menos experiencia en esta temprana edad. Después de movernos a una escuela con alta necesidad, me encontré con un maestro consejero que después de 2 años de estar mi hijo en esa escuela, el maestro no sabía el nombre de mi hijo cuando fui a hablar con él. ¿Quién era mi muchacho? Menos cómo apoyarlo académicamente. Por eso les pido que por favor presten atención a las necesidades de los estudiantes afroamericanos y latinos, ya que su futuro depende de ello. De una forma u otra, creo que el interés de todos es que encontremos la forma precisa para que todos los niños puedan ir a la universidad y para ello necesitamos suficiente personal preparado y de todas y cada una de las áreas en las diferentes escuelas. Me preocupa mucho, no solo como madre, sino también como a cualquier ser humano le preocupa. Sabemos bien y es obvio que un chico bien preparado tendrá muchas más oportunidades y triunfos de progreso, lo cual nos beneficiará a todos como comunidades y como ciudadanos de este país. Gracias por su atención y me pongo disponible para trabajar juntos en la erradicación de la equidad en nuestras escuelas. Muchas gracias.
Good evening, Board of Education and Superintendent Dr. Smith. My name is Sofia Lopez, and I am the mother of 4 MCPS students, 2 graduates, and 2 who are still in school. I am also a member of the Black and Brown Coalition for Educational Equity. The reason I'm here is to thank you for the interest and for the attention you're paying to the academic disparities of our Montgomery County students. However, the proposed budget is not what I expected, since it lacks focus on Black and Brown students. As a mother of children who attend these schools, it is important to me to have enough experience and diverse teachers who are highly trained. Based on the experiences that my family has had with the school system, I can say that the differences among schools are very remarkable. My oldest daughter went to Hoover and graduated from Winston Churchill High with very good grades while receiving the necessary supports. My next 2 children had the opportunity to attend Beverly Farms Elementary, which has experienced teachers. And then we moved, so they had to change schools. The difference was huge among schools with more experienced teachers and schools where the teachers are more novice. Students have more attention and support in schools with experienced teachers. For example, one of my children, who is in 4th grade, was diagnosed with an attentional problem thanks to the teachers who identified the signs and were able to create an IP for my child's success. I often think about this because I don't know what would have happened if he had had less experienced teachers at that early age. Teachers that may not have caught his learning impediment. After moving to a school with high needs, I met a teacher counselor who, after 2 years of working with my son, did not know his name or who he was, let alone what kind of support and how he could help him academically. That is why I ask you to please pay attention to the needs of the Black and brown students. Their future depends on it. In one way or another, I think that it is everyone's interest that we find the precise way for all children to go to university. And for that to happen, we need enough trained staff in each and every area, in each and every school. I am very concerned, not only as a mother, but also as a human being. We well know, and it is obvious, that well-prepared students will have many more opportunities to succeed and progress, which in turn will benefit us all as communities of this country. Thank you for your attention, and I'm making myself available to work together to eradicate inequality in our schools.
Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from Reina Ochoa.
Buenas noches, estimada Junta Directiva de MCPS y Superintendente Dr. Jack Smith. Mi nombre es Reina Ochoa. Soy madre de 2 graduados de MCPS y una hija que está en la Gettysburg High School. Soy miembro de la Coalición Afroamericana y Latina de Equidad y Excelencia. Vengo a hablar sobre el presupuesto operacional y la necesidad de enfocarnos en las iniquidades entre los logros de estudiantes latinos y afroamericanos. Exigimos que ellos tengan acceso equitativo a maestros con experiencia, líderes, expertos y diversos, y a la misma oportunidad a acceder a clases avanzadas de los demás estudiantes. Ustedes, junto con el Consejo del Condado de Líderes de los sindicatos, se comprometieron a ejercer estos cambios en nuestras escuelas. Me preocupa el presupuesto operacional no esté enfocado en los estudiantes latinos y afroamericanos. Mi experiencia propia muestra la necesidad de tener maestros capacitados y con experiencia. Desafortunadamente, uno de mis hijos tuvo que sufrir las consecuencias de la falta de maestros con experiencia y diversos durante su educación primaria, en donde se le identificó un problema de atención. Él nunca tuvo problemas de conducta, pero sus calificaciones siempre estaban bajas. Yo personalmente hablé con los maestros y administradores para buscar ayuda, pero no se hizo nada. Cuando empecé a participar en las reuniones de padres en la escuela, me di cuenta al escuchar historias de los demás padres de que mi hijo tal vez tenía una barrera de falta de enfoque en la escuela. Cuando pude hablar con él, me confesó sus dificultades prestando atención en clase y su ansiedad porque él quería ejercer todas sus clases. En ese momento continué poniendo presión a la escuela, donde finalmente empezaron el proceso de crear un plan. Acomodaciones necesarias para mi hijo pudo graduarse y seguir adelante. Lo que me preocupa y me trae aquí es la iniquidad y qué hubiera pasado si yo no hubiera identificado el problema. Me preocupa que aún en estos tiempos pueden haber niños en la misma situación de mi hijo. Como padre, nuestra misión es seguir en la lucha para que nuestros hijos tengan un mejor futuro y trabajar con ustedes hasta ver que nuestra meta se haga realidad. El aumento de presupuesto para nuestros estudiantes más vulnerables nos permite realizar esta meta. Muchas gracias.
Good evening, esteemed MCPS Board of Education and Superintendent Jack Smith. My name is Reina Ochoa, and I am the mother of 2 MCPS graduates and a daughter at Gaithersburg High School. I'm a member of the Black and Brown Coalition for Educational Equity. I come here today to talk about the operational budget and the need to focus on the achievement inequities of Black and Brown students. We demand that they have equal access to experienced teachers, expert and diverse leaders, and the same opportunities to access to access advanced classes as other students do. You, along with the County Council and union leaders, pledged to make these changes in our schools. I am concerned that the operational budget is not focused on Black and brown students. My own experience shows the need to have trained and experienced teachers. Unfortunately, one of my children had to suffer the consequences of a lack of experience and diverse teachers during his primary education, where his attentional problem was not identified. He never had behavioral problems, but his grades were always low. And I personally spoke with teachers and administrators to get help, but nothing was done. When I started to participate in parent meetings at school, I heard the stories of other parents, and I realized that my son might have a barrier of lack of focus at school. When I got a chance to talk to him, he confessed his difficulties paying attention in class and his anxiety because he wanted to excel in his classes. At that time, I continued to put pressure on the school, where they finally just started the process of creating an IEP for my son to be successful. With the necessary supports and accommodations, my son was able to graduate and move on with his life. What worries me and brings me here is the concern for what would have happened if it had not been identified as the problem and advocated for him. It worries me even more that other children go through the same thing today. As parents, our mission is to continue in the fight so that our children have a better future and to work with you until we see our goals come true. Increasing the budget for our most vulnerable students allows us to achieve this goal. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Margarita Peña.
Buenas noches. Buenas noches, estimada Junta de Educación y Superintendente Dr. Jack Smith. Mi nombre es Margarita Peña y soy madre de 2 estudiantes que asisten a las escuelas del condado de Montgomery. También soy miembro de la Coalición Afroamericana y Latina de Equidad Educacional. Quiero agradecerles por el esfuerzo y el arduo trabajo que se han tomado al comprometerse con mejoras para nuestra comunidad latina y afroamericana. Después de revisar la propuesta del presupuesto, tengo unos puntos que resaltan y recomendar, ya que me han afectado personalmente. Primeramente, lo necesario en nuestras escuelas es una selección más diversa y con experiencia de maestros y directores para las escuelas donde haya una mayoría de latinos y afroamericanos. Basado en lo que he visto y observado en este tipo de escuelas, nuestros niños, aunque sí son capaces de aprender y avanzar, no pueden avanzar porque la dedicación y el conocimiento de los maestros, en mi opinión, no es la más adecuada y por lo tanto no tienen las mismas capacidades que maestros con muchos años de experiencia para poder educar a nuestros hijos como es debido. Todos los maestros deberían ser distribuidos equitativamente para todas las escuelas sin importar la raza, el color o ingreso familiar. También quiero añadir que se les debe proveer incentivos para que estos buenos maestros sean aún más capacitados y consistentes. En la propuesta no vi ningún fondo dedicado a la retención, entrenamiento e incentivos para los maestros diversos y con experiencia. Entiendo que mucho se decidirá en las negociaciones del contrato con el sindicato de maestros y quiero asegurarme que esté incluido en el presupuesto operacional. Un ejemplo claro del por qué esto es una prioridad es mi hija, ya que ella tuvo una maestra de computación nueva con muy poca experiencia. Esta maestra solo se dedicaba a darles papeles a los estudiantes para que ellos siguieran instrucciones, mientras ella estaba sentada en su escritorio sin hacer nada. Un día en particular, mi hija le pidió ayuda con un proyecto que no entendió, y la maestra respondió que le preguntara a otros estudiantes porque ella no iba a ayudarle. Aquí la clave es que los maestros estén al 100% capacitados y con el conocimiento suficiente para que puedan ayudar a nuestros hijos a prepararse. También quiero agregar la expansión de programas con días completos de educación preprimaria. Todos los niños también, sin excepción alguna, deben poder asistir Head Start o Pre-Kinder para que estén listos para Kinder. Por ejemplo, mi niño que está ahora cursando el 6º grado no calificó para Head Start o Pre-Kinder porque yo era considerada clase media. Sin embargo, mis ingresos no eran suficientes para poder pagar un programa de Pre-Kinder privado. Cuando mi hijo entró a Pre-Kinder, estaba más atrasado que los demás niños porque él fue el único que no había tenido educación de temprana edad. Teniendo estas experiencias personal, me dio la habilidad de ver esta barrera y no quisiera que otras familias lidiaran con el mismo problema. Por favor, nuestros niños son el futuro del mundo. Ayúdennos a ser mejores líderes para que ellos sigan su ejemplo y continúen mejorando nuestro mundo. Sin su ayuda, nosotros los padres no podemos hacerlo. Es hora de enfocarnos en nuestros niños, de otra manera este mundo estará perdido. Debemos trabajar juntos para ejercer un cambio sistémico que se enfoque en los estudiantes latinos y afroamericanos. Gracias.
Thank you.
Esteemed members of the board and Superintendent Jack Smith. My name is Margarita Peña, and I am the mother of 2 students who attend Montgomery County Public Schools. I am also a member of the Black and Brown Coalition for Educational Equity. I want to thank you for the effort made to make improvements for our Black and Brown community. I have reviewed the budget proposal and want to highlight our need for a more diverse and experienced selection of teachers and principals for schools where there is a majority of Black and Brown students. Based on what I have seen and observed in our schools, although our children are able to learn and move forward, I believe they cannot do so because of the lack of dedication and knowledge and inexperienced teachers. They do not have the same skills as teachers with many years of experience to be able to educate our children properly. All teachers should be distributed equally to all schools, regardless of race, color, or family income. I also want to add that they should be given incentives to make good teachers better and available to all. In the proposal, I did not see any funds dedicated to retention, training, and incentives for diverse and experienced teachers. I understand much will be decided in the contract negotiations with the teachers' union, but I want to make sure that it is included in the operational budget. My daughter's experience is an example of why this should be a priority. She had a new computer teacher with very little experience. That teacher only gave Xerox activity sheets to students while she was sitting at her desk doing nothing. One day in particular, my daughter asked for help with a project that she did not understand, and the teacher replied that she should ask another student because she was not going to help. Here, the key is that teachers should be 100% trained and knowledgeable enough to help our children prepare for the future. Also, I want to thank you for the expansion of the full-day pre-K education programs. All children, without exception, must be able to attend Head Start or pre-K so that they're ready for kindergarten. For example, my child, who is now in 6th grade, did not qualify for Head Start or pre-K because I was considered middle class. However, my income was not enough to pay for private pre-K program. When my son entered pre-K, he was behind the other students because he was the only one who had not had an early education. Having this personal experience helped me understand the importance of early education for children, and I don't want other families to face similar barriers. Please, our children are our future of the world. Help us to be better leaders so that they can follow our example and continue to improve our world. Without your help, we as parents will not be able to do this. It is time to focus on our children, otherwise this world will be lost. We must work together to exert the systemic change that focuses on Black and brown students. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Melissa McKenna.
Good evening. My name is Melissa McKenna. I am a proud member of the Black and Brown Coalition for Educational Equity and Excellence. All of our kids deserve our focus. Yet data show not all of our kids are reaching their potential. This must stop now. We can and must do better. It's not about novice versus veteran. It's about commitment and buy-in from all to practice the equity MCPS strives for. Dr. Smith, thank you for hiring Dr. McKnight to ensure this happens. We believe in you. It's time for a monumental shift in culture and practice. Empower all of our teachers and staff to make learning come to life. Ted Dintersmith, in his book, What School Could Be, says it all. Don't just do obsolete things better, do better things. 4 years ago, I stood here and asked for $100 million over maintenance of effort. We fought hard to get $89 million of that. And in the 4 years since, also all over maintenance of effort. That has grown to $463 million over MOE. It was my understanding that watershed unprecedented investment would do. We need to be mindful that future Kirwan Commission funding asks will be an additional enormous lift. Some context about this budget. This request is $72 million over MOE. Salaries alone comprise $1 billion, or $1 million from each person in the county. The $1.3 million for pre-K only adds roughly 120 seats, yet countywide, we need roughly 5,200 more. The ERS study defines impacted middle schools as a farms rate greater than 20%. For school year 17-18, that was 25 of our 40 middle schools, or 63%. Odds are the student is going to be in an impacted school. While greater opportunity and access to increased academic rigor are important, proficiency is key. The September ERS study data regarding 6th grade PARCC scores show we have much work to do. A staggering 78% of African American and 84% of Latino low-income students were not proficient in math. Our kids need the basics. We can and must do better. There's a reason the Kirwan Commission is focusing on schools with a high concentration of poverty. No one is doing well there. The highest math proficiency at one middle school was 45.8%. The lowest English learners was 1.8% proficiency. There's too much testing, too much data analysis, too many meetings, and not enough teaching. Let our teachers teach. I asked current staff, and more importantly, former special ed staff, what incentive they need. The overwhelming response was time for planning, autonomy to teach, and supportive administration. MCPS is not alone and cannot be alone in getting this work done. With more counselors and school psychologists, money only goes so far.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whose kids?
Our kids! Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Daniela Helton.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Daniela Helton, and I'm the counselor at Little Bennett Elementary School. This is my 16th year as a counselor in the county, and this marks another year of many that I am pleading to you to address the mental health of our youngest students. I want to take a moment to thank Dr. Smith because I believe he recognizes the importance of mental health as reflected in this quote. At MCPS, we are committed to the academic success and to the physical, social, and psychological well-being of every one of our students. Student learning is our purpose, and we know that students perform better academically when they are healthy in body, mind, and spirit. The two go hand in hand to produce young people who are successful in school and in life. I agree with this statement. However, a great deal of mental health improvements must be made in order for this to become a reality. Through the years, I have noticed a dramatic increase in the mental health needs of students. However, MCPS has not kept up with these needs. Our students deserve mental health support. Due to the outrageous counselor-to-student ratios in elementary schools, our kids' mental health needs are not being met. They are hurting, have suffered trauma, and have many social emotional needs. Their anxiety is out of control due to the demands of the curriculum, the ongoing testing they endure, their parent or guardian's anxiety related to the stress of them not making it, the constant changes in their home life, or many forms of abuse they receive. They are angry, tired, unfocused, and overdosed on screen time. They arrive at school and it doesn't look pretty. Numerous staff members, including myself, are pulled from our teaching responsibilities nearly every hour of the day to respond to the mental health needs of our students. These students are unstable and they show it by eloping and hurting any people or property in their way. How do we get in front of this mental health crisis? While my school psychologist has the skill set to support me and does the best she can, I can't rely on her consistent support because her ratio is even worse than mine, at 1 to 2,000 students. Years ago, our school psychologist consulted with teachers and parents, observed students, provided counseling, and helped to lead social skills groups. Lately, her time is consumed with unmanageable number of assessments. As a result, much of this proactive work falls on my shoulders. As the only counselor at Little Bennett, I am charged with supporting 640 students. And with the current elementary counseling staffing formula, I won't get any support until we reach 700 students.
We have your testimony.
This number includes the 59 students in our elementary learning center program.
We have your testimony.
Please help us.
Thank you. Absolutely. Now we will hear from Kevin Riley.
Hi, my name is Kevin Riley, and I'm speaking to you on behalf of the Montgomery County School Psychologists Association. First, MCSBA would like to thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony with regards to the MCPS budget recommendations. MCSBA would like to strongly support the superintendent's recommendation for 7.5 new school psychologist positions to support our numerous schools and programs. However, I come here tonight to emphasize the overwhelming need for even more positions to address the needs of the students across the county. If you were to walk into an MCPS school on any given day, the school psychologist is likely attending meetings, providing insights to staff and students, completing assessments to better understand the students' unique needs, and writing reports to share recommendations with others. While these tasks can provide invaluable support to the staff and students involved, that psychologist is drastically limited in the ability to affect change to a small amount of students each day. All of that, however, comes at the caveat that the school psychologist might not be present in the school that day, as most psychologists continue to serve 2 or more buildings. MCSBA would like to propose a different, comprehensive model of psychological services where in any given day, each psychologist can provide support and bring systems change to affect every student within a school. As an example, in a model consistent with our proposal, you might observe the psychologist collaborating with administrators, counselors, and teachers to identify small groups of students that are being referred for difficulties within the classroom across a variety of skills, such as developing peer relationships, completing tasks, and managing anxiety. The psychologist then has time to develop small counseling and intervention groups that can meet weekly to teach coping skills to these groups of students so that they are able to remain in class and engage with the instruction that the teachers are providing. In addition, the school psychologist is then able to follow up with the teachers through the course of the intervention, provide strategies, and act as a reference point when working with these students. These 2 vignettes hopefully illustrate 2 drastically different visions of the implementation of school psychological services in MCPS. In the first current model, MCPS will meet the legally mandated requirements to provide individualistic supports and assessments. In the second comprehensive model proposed tonight, while those assessment services will still continue to be present, school psychologists will be able to provide direct services to students before being referred for crisis, create change across the school, provide professional development to teachers, and use data-based decision-making processes to identify and address needs. MCSBA hopes the board shares our vision for psychological services. However, this model is unobtainable with our current staffing ratios. We have 208 unique schools and numerous other specialized programs across the county. Each one of the schools and programs deserve to have a school psychologist dedicated solely to that school and present every day. The need for our services is already out there. We just need the time to provide it. Thank you again for this opportunity and your continued support for our increased staffing.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Patricia Winters and Rita Toner.
Good evening. My name is Rita Toner, and I'm presenting for Patty Winters. As last year, we want to commend Dr. Smith for recognizing the value of recovery education for our precious youth, striving to stay sober, and for telling Montgomery County that the recovery academic program is here as long as one child needs it. We thank the Board of Education for your ongoing support that has enabled RAP to graduate its first student and continue a second year. Our community needs to grasp the daily challenges of having a child in recovery from any substance use disorder, too often with a co-occurring disorder and unspoken because of the stigma in our culture, to appreciate why RAP is so vital to these students and their families. Everyone needs to understand why recovery education is a concrete solution toward defeating the opiate crisis and therefore must be funded. Recovery education expert Dr. Andrew Finch explained why this is in his testimony to MCPS. Recovery high schools offer not only programs to support the recovery of students with a diagnosed opiate use disorder, but also provide a key prevention strategy in fighting the opiate epidemic, opening the doors to students who have not yet become addicted to opiates, attacks the opiate epidemic at its roots, closing the doors to students at high risk who have not yet developed an opiate problem, could unintentionally allow the opiate crisis to fester. These students include the growing number of those becoming addicted to nicotine at an alarming rate and suffering sometimes fatal lung disease due to their misconceptions about vaping. Also in this group are those who become addicted to alcohol, marijuana, amphetamines, and other drugs harmful to their brain development and health, including stroke and heart arrhythmias. We know RAP is not a magic bullet, but Dr. Finch's cost-benefit analysis shows recovery education is far more cost-effective than the far-reaching fallout of failed treatment programs and gives our children who need it their best shot to regain their self-esteem, graduate, and become responsible, prosperous citizens. Thank you for your commitment and service to our children who need RAP.
Thank you. Thank you. We're now at the point of board questions. I'm looking to the left and to my right. I see no lights. I'm going to go on. At this time, we will hear from Dr. Jennifer Jones.
Hello, Dr. Smith and Board of Education members. I'm Dr. Jennifer Jones, MCPS graduate and 28-year employee, 21 as an elementary school counselor. It's my 9th year speaking to you, the past 2 years as the Elementary School Counselor Caucus Coordinator affiliated with MCEA. The MCPS strategic plan includes Be Well 365. I was on the elementary work group that designed its activities. For years, elementary counselors have shared with you the serious need for a better counselor ratio. Since Be Well 365 is a priority and all counselors are being directly trained right now by the American School Counselor Association to implement the ASCA model, we need the recommended ratio of 1 to 250 that they recommend for all K-12 schools. Our young elementary students should get the same mental health supports as their middle and high school siblings with ratios already at 1 to 250. Elementary schools have one counselor for 300 to over 700 students. Ashburton Elementary has 953 students with 1.5 counselors. So half the time, there's one counselor for 953 students. It is very disappointing no improvement in the allocations was made by Dr. Smith in next year's budget, even after the Board of Education saw the need and unanimously passed a budget amendment in May to allocate 6 additional half-time elementary counselor positions to the largest schools. Nikki Diamond shared the elementary counselor staffing formula was then adjusted for which schools received the additional half-time counselor. I'm going to read this slowly so you can take notes, everyone. Title I schools remained at 550 students to get an additional half-time counselor and 650 for an additional full-time counselor position. Focus schools went from needing 650 down to 600 for an additional half-time counselor. All other schools were lowered from needing 750 to 700 students to receive an additional half-time counselor. We appreciate these changes and hoped the trend would continue. Some schools do not have the allocations promised or were 10 to 15 students below the cutoff. Other schools had counselor allocations taken away because they lost 10 or 15 students. ASCA and a report of the Federal Commission on School Safety referenced research that there is solid evidence in support of the impact that school mental health programs can have on academics. The earlier we provide mental health support to students, the sooner they have the social, emotional, and academic skills they need. Rochelle Rubin said at our MCC-PTA Delegates Assembly recently, with only one counselor in most elementary schools, they don't have time to collect data she was presenting that night, so data was missing. Others in support of lower elementary school counselor ratios include County Executive, who spoke about that, County Council, MCEA, MCAP, MCC-PTA leaders, and the Montgomery County Mental Health Advisory Committee, as well as the Black and Brown Coalition, who recognize the need for more counselors.
We have your written testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Tiffany Jones.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Jones, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Montgomery County Community Action Board. I serve in the low-income sector of the board as a representative of the Head Start Parents Policy Council. I want to start by thanking Superintendent Smith for including many of the CAB's critical priorities in his recommended budget, expanding Head Start and full-day pre-K, investing in special education for young children, and exploring community schools. Part of our board's role is to provide oversight to the Head Start program and ensure that all federal performance standards are met. One significant need right now is support staff. Head Start provides services to the 648 children in the program and their families, and adequate funding is necessary to ensure staffing to meet increasing needs. Family support workers, also known as FSWs, provide referrals, case management, and other intensive services to Head Start and pre-K families in crisis, and are supposed to have a staff ratio of 1 FSW to 35 students. Currently, the ratio is 1 to 50 to 75 students. With the increasing number of mental health referrals along with other critical needs of students and families, this is a serious concern. We ask the board to consider adding funding to hire more FSWs and administrative support staff. With regard to expanding early education, we strongly support increasing the number of full-day pre-K slots with special attention given to the critical need for more 3-year-old spots. We also ask the board to ensure that children in pre-K receive the same support services as children in Head Start. We are thrilled to see a recognition of the 2-gen whole family approach reflected in the proposed budget. Expanding supports for parents, helping them improve their own education, financial, and health outcomes will in turn help children achieve better outcomes. Community action grew out of the civil rights movement and continues to have a primary focus on equity. We are deeply troubled by the ongoing disparities between students of different backgrounds and different socioeconomic statuses. For example, the suspension rate for African American students is 550% the rate of white students, and the rate for Hispanic students is 283% of the suspension rate of white students. Farm students, along with African American and Hispanic students, are more likely to have less experienced novice teachers. Our board is also concerned about the disproportionate number of less tenured administrators at these schools. Disparities such as these can have long-lasting impacts on student achievement. We encourage the Board of Education to explore options for reducing disparities among students. Please refer to our full testimony for additional details about these recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Al Seward. Or maybe not.
Unfortunately, Al had a family medical situation, and he asked if I could speak on his behalf.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Al Seward. This is my first time speaking to you about the operating budget. I was compelled to testify after learning there was no improvement in the staffing formula for elementary school counselors in Dr. Smith's budget for next year. I'm a half-time counselor at Tacoma Park Elementary School. Previously, I worked as a full-time counselor at Stonegate, Rosemary Hills, and Northwood High School. After working in high school, I returned to elementary because I realized students need more support while they are younger to get them on track so they are more successful by middle and high school. We have 6 years at the elementary level to help students build self-esteem, social-emotional skills needed to carry them through as teens, as we prepare them to be more resistant to peer pressure and setbacks using problem-solving skills to face challenges. I have seen an increase in oppositional and aggressive behaviors in our elementary students who have poor impulse control and self-regulation. Students are acting out for a variety of reasons, have anger and anxiety, or get upset handling simple tasks or situations. We try to support students to manage their emotions, but it is a daunting task due to the number of students in need and lack of time. Once they're teens, many problematic attitudes and behaviors become ingrained, or their mental health has suffered from a variety of obstacles, so it's more difficult to overcome self-defeating coping mechanisms or poor habits. I'm concerned as to how the population guidelines involving farms rates for the elementary counselor staffing formula were derived, which determine when a school receives additional counselors. As a high school counselor, I was able to meet one-to-one more easily with students because my caseload was around 250. All middle and high school counselors have a 1 to 250 ratio, and the percentage of farms of students do not dictate which schools receive more counselors. We need the same in elementary by lowering the guidelines every year until we reach that goal. With 1.5 counselors in our school, we are putting Band-Aids on gaping wounds of students' serious emotional needs. Teachers look to us for help so students can learn new curriculum and face testing. I'm frustrated when I do not have the hours supporting the students that I need, and I hand off situations to my full-time colleague to address. In the FY21 budget, please use some of the $23 million in strategic accelerators for new staffing to intensify efforts to improve academic excellence by lowering each of the population categories by 50 students in the elementary counselor staffing formula guidelines. In recent training, the American School Counselor Association referenced research supporting the cost effectiveness of adding full-time elementary school counselors. The research showed even one additional full-time counselor in the elementary school reduces student misbehavior and increases academic achievement. Hiring one additional full-time elementary counselor is equivalent to raising the quality of every teacher in the school. I implore you to continue lowering our elementary counselor ratio. Research shows you will get a huge return on your investment. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Byron Johns. Yes.
Good.
I introduced
Good
you.
evening.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
On behalf of the Black and Brown Coalition and the NAACP Parents Council, we want to continue to be enthusiastically in support of the vision for equity at Montgomery County Public Schools. There is some irony being here. This building is an artifact and monument to an era when this institution legally and openly created policies and systems to implement racial segregation and under-resource the education of communities of color. We appreciate and applaud the work by this board working with Superintendent Smith over the past few years to examine and unmask the remaining vestiges of that era and the current systemic and structural impediments to Black and Brown student success. As a result, we've built a coalition and activated communities of color that have rarely been aligned in advocacy to ensure the experience of Black and Brown students is paramount in the discourse. There is a moral momentum building for equity in Montgomery County, and you, the board members, have said the operating budget is a moral document and that the values embedded in the coalition's ask will be visible in the 21 budget and all future budgets. That demands action and investment to remove structural barriers with all deliberate speed. In October, we came together and our county leaders, the board, administrators, and employee associations pledged to support our ask. In November, our communities came out again and heard U.S. Secretary of Education John King talk with Superintendent Smith about the promise and importance of MCPS's equity work for our county's future and as a model for public education across the nation. But now we are in an inflection point. Indeed, there are positive program investments for improving equity in the budget. However, we do not see a bold, comprehensive investment strategy to address the coalition's ask, nor make quantum steps towards realizing the equity vision. While we hear that MCPS's practice will change to automatically enroll all students who qualify in more rigorous math curriculum, we would like to see the board adopt a policy to ensure that practice is permanent. We understand that our other asks to ensure that effective and diverse educators are encouraged and supported to serve our most highly impacted students are dependent on the outcomes of the Employee Association negotiations. And we are hopeful, but we are insistent that you and we must push to remove these barriers. Black and brown students are 54% of MCPS's population. Addressing the needs of this expanding majority must be given your top priority. Our black and brown communities are trusting all of you to fulfill your pledges, but we've learned from that old Russian maxim, doverye no provye, trust but verify.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Sabrina Dodd McMillan.
Good evening. The NAACP and the Black and Brown Coalition for Equity and Excellence would like to thank the superintendent for the strong system-level investments in the proposed budget. We are enthusiastic about ongoing negotiations with employee associations to remove barriers to having the most effective teachers and principals work with the most needy students. We appreciate the work of Kim Staden and Maria Navarro on productivity and look forward to the fruit of their focus on achieving better outcomes with more sustainable cost structure. At the same time, we note current practices, incentives, instruction, assessment, and systems were never designed with widespread on-grade level and above grade level achievement for Black and Brown and poor students in mind. This includes the new K-8 math curriculum and the attendant professional development, which was selected without the benefit of math experts. As we look at the budget, we ask, how does MCPS tether the broad goals of equity and excellence to eliminating current achievement problems and changing practices? For example, last spring, the University of Washington Center for Educational Leadership found district structures to support principals have no shared vision in 3 critical areas: the role of principals as instructional leaders, the role of central office staff in supporting school improvement and instruction and student achievement, and another role related to student achievement and excellence. We actively support the efforts of MCPS to adopt restorative practices and restorative justice. It is our understanding a whole child approach benefits teachers as well as students. Teachers develop healthy relationships with students and increase student receptivity to challenge, which increases job satisfaction. Students learn to finely tune their social and emotional skills to feel safe with the risk of learning something new and stretching to synthesize concepts, self-efficacy, and teamwork, which prepares students for the 21st century workforce. There's a reference to a McKinsey study about the 21st century workforce skills. I close with a thank you to the board and superintendent for elevating equity and excellence among many competing practices and priorities, and with 2 questions. How will MCPS leaders increase their capacity to lead and manage change? If the achievement of Black, Brown, Poor, and language learning students is a priority, why doesn't MCPS spend all of the state compensatory education revenue it receives on low-income students in high-poverty schools? Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from Ellie Kleinman.
Good evening. My name is Ellie Kleinman, and I'm not only a proud MCPS graduate and parent, I'm also a school counselor at New Hampshire State's elementary school in Silver Spring. New Hampshire State currently has the highest farms rate of any elementary school in Montgomery County at about 90%. We also have an ESOL rate of over 67%. Just last week, I attended a PBIS training in Y Mills, Maryland, with counselors, teachers, and administrators from across the state. I was impressed when 2 school counselors from Caroline County told me that they had 2 full-time counselors to serve the 700 students in their elementary school. When I shared that in MCPS, we are nowhere close to achieving even a school counselor to student ratio of 1 to 350 for elementary schools, much less the recommended ASCA ratio of 1 to 250, they were surprised to say the least. When I worked at College Gardens Elementary School 2 years ago, we had a ratio of 1.5 counselors to 900 students. After my position at College Gardens was cut, the school was left with just 1 counselor to serve almost 700 students. With such a heavy caseload, the counselor could only get into classrooms for guidance lessons 4 times during the entire year rather than once per month, which is what we usually try to do. The situation at New Hampshire Estates, while different in terms of numbers, is similar to that at College Gardens in that we almost lost our half-time counselor last year, when for the 3rd year in a row, our half-time counseling position was cut. At New Hampshire Estates, our student population is largely made up of immigrants and the children of immigrants, most of whom are from Central America. We regularly receive students who are new to the United States and who have faced challenges in their native country, such as civil war, gangs, and violent crime resulting in secondary trauma. Several have spent time in detention at the U.S. border, and some have witnessed the deportation of a parent. The loss of our half-time counselor would mean that these students would receive hardly any proactive mental health services or programs, simply because the day-to-day needs of our students, as well as the support that our teachers require in working with students, is just too great. Even having managed to keep our additional half-time counselor, we are unable to meet the needs of many of our students. The trauma experienced by a significant number of our students demands that many of our staff, including counselors who are supposed to be general educators working with all of our students, are focused on supporting the needs of just a few students who have suffered extreme trauma. Due to the increasing trauma levels of being experienced by students across the county and across the country, this situation is sadly being faced by many other elementary schools within MCPS. Taking away our half-time counselor would have left New Hampshire Estates in a position where even fewer of our students would have been able to receive counseling services this year. I firmly believe that until the ASCA recommended counselor-to-student ratio of 1 to 250 has been achieved by MCPS, that any full or part-time counseling positions that are added to a school should never be taken away due to decreased enrollment by 10 to 15 students or for any other reason. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. At this time, we will hear from Liz Hill.
Good evening. My name is Liz Hill. I'm a secondary special education math teacher here in MCPS and a member of the MCEA bargaining team. I am here tonight exercising our right in Comar to speak directly to you about what we, as MCEA unit members, believe students need to be successful no matter what school they attend. It's about time that students and families feel fully supported by staff and through resources in their schools and communities. We've offered solutions that support oversight, accountability, and transparency with staffing, ratios and caseload, facilities, and school budgeting. These proposals will allow students to be supported socially, emotionally, and academically. Our students deserve world-class educators and for their skills to be recognized and used effectively. We are counting on you to support improving staffing and ratios that will allow for students to have their needs met. Ratios have been proposed for special education, ESOL, psychologists, counselors, specialists, and specials teachers. These proposed staffing ratios line up with other successful districts across the country and nationwide organizational recommendations. When you agree to improve staffing ratios, you are agreeing students are the first priority. Our students deserve schools where parent and educator input is valued in the allocation of resources. We are counting on you to support the creation of a school site council at each school. The school site council will provide transparency and oversight at the school level with regards to staffing allocations, facilities, and the school budget. Your support shows how staff is used in the building is important to all learners. Your support shows that the education of students is a team effort and therefore needs input and feedback from multiple levels, students included. Your support shows you value everyone's opinion at the school level. Our students deserve to feel as though they are the most important student in the building. Our families deserve to feel that they are the most important family. We await engagement at the bargaining table on our system's most pressing issues. Many others tonight have expressed concern for similar priorities. We are counting on you to work with us to make progress in negotiations and come to an agreement as quickly as possible.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Lauren Moskowitz.
Good evening, I'm Lauren Moskowitz. I'm a special education ESOL teacher at Carl Sandburg Learning Center and the Longview School. I am also a member of the MCEA bargaining team. I am here tonight exercising my right in Comar to speak directly to you about what we as MCEA unit members believe students need to be successful no matter what school they attend. Although the number of students with special needs is growing, there is no statewide or countywide consistency related to the maximum student-teacher ratios in these classes. Researchers and policy experts indicate that there is significant variance in caseload class size provisions among the states. According to the U.S. Department of Education, the lower the teacher-student ratio for students with special needs, the more time teachers spend covering material. In addition, smaller caseloads produce noticeable declines in the number of disciplinary referrals and improvements in teacher morale and attitude toward teaching. Furthermore, it creates a safer environment for our students and our staff. Paraeducator and teacher staffing should not be tied directly to the number of students in the building, but to those students and the needs of those students. Take a special education school in Rockville, for example. They receive an additional 7 students in 1 month and no additional staffing. However, these classes have an average of 8 to 9 students already. So with an additional 7 students, that's essentially a whole other class. How is no additional paraeducator and educator staffing allocated to accompany those students? The safety in such a school as the one I am talking about is also at risk when you do not have appropriate staffing ratios. In a school with a high number of special education students who are prone to elopement, without notifying anyone, lack of staffing becomes even more apparent. When a student runs out of a building, it is not uncommon for 4 or 5 staff to be assigned to search for that student, pulling them from their designated jobs. Thus, there are 4 or 5 less adults in an already minimally staffed building. As a licensed educator in the state of Maryland, there are times that I fear for my license because of the conditions MCPS puts myself and other teachers in that violates a student's IEP. Appropriate, adequate, and equitable staffing ratios that our students in special education programs ensure that our students are given the legally mandated enhanced staffing that is located in their IEPs by law. It ensures that our students are receiving the free and appropriate education they require and deserve. If the system can find the money to pay $750,000 to pay for a bus tracking app, why can't you find the money to ensure legally mandated staffing for special education students? The Board of Education can continue to not discuss special education ratios with us, as they stated on Monday through their bargaining team, or they can reread the proposal put forth by the bargaining team that include months of research and begin an open and honest discussion about how best to serve our students.
At this time, we will hear from Marissa Privman.
Good evening. My name is Marissa Privman, and I am the proud counselor at Ronald McNair Elementary School. This is my 18th year as a counselor. I've worked in both the elementary and middle school settings over the years. At this time, Ronald McNair has an enrollment of 835 students. I work full-time with a wonderful part-time counselor. Our part-time counselor works 2.5 days a week, which means I am the sole counselor for all 835 students the other 2.5 days a week. This is more than double the suggested ratio of 1 to 250. With over 800 children, it is inevitable that each day my students need to work with me because of trauma they are experiencing or have experienced in the past. This includes parents going through divorce, death of a loved one, being evicted, missing a parent who is incarcerated, worry that a family member will be deported, missing a parent who is deployed, and many friendship issues that elementary students need help navigating through. If neither of the counselors are able to work with a student when they are struggling because we are busy with our other responsibilities and/or I am the only one in the building, then this student is not available to learn and he or she falls behind in their academics. Unfortunately, this happens more times than I can count. Besides supporting the mental health needs of my students, I have many, many other responsibilities, including 504 coordinator, mentor program sponsor, holiday assistance program lead, SGA sponsor, PBIS coach, EMT chair, magnet program liaison, Smart Sacks organizer, private therapist consultant, and the list goes on. Additionally, with only one principal and one assistant principal, I take the role of teacher in charge when both of my administrators are out of the building, which occurs at least once a week. With so many other responsibilities being put on our plates and the sheer amount of students in our schools, it is impossible to be the mental health support that our students need us to be. MCPS obviously realizes that mental health support is crucial due to the implementation of Be Well 365, and they see a great need for early intervention with the increase in full-time pre-K programs. It is time for MCPS to hear the needs of our elementary counselors and decrease the counselor-student ratio. It is not realistic to expect test scores to increase to fix the opportunity gap for underrepresented populations in magnet programs, for students to be successful with new curriculums, and for all our students to achieve success with our rigorous and demanding academics. Thank you.
Love the support and applause. If we could, I don't know if we're hitting a board or what, if we could just kind of keep that to a minimum, I would appreciate it. And next up, we will have board questions, and I don't see any lights. Okay, Ms. Dixon.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if we could, just for the elementary counselors, get a list in alphabetical order of the elementary schools, the number of students, and the number of counselors for the board.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll just say in Mr. Tinbite's absence, he wanted to have me thank you all for coming out tonight. He left to go home to finish schoolwork. So I don't see any other board member lights. Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mrs. Smodrowski.
So it's not a question, it's just because I know the room ends up emptying out as the night goes on. So I wanted to thank all of you all for being here. I can't speak for all my colleagues, although I feel confident in saying that I think that they would agree 100%. You know, we all wish that we could do everything. I personally wish that I could fill every one of these spots that you guys are talking about and give big raises, because I believe our educators is one of the most important jobs in the world and should be paid and treated that way. I hope that you all go out in full force and advocate for our funding, because I don't know how else we pay for things if, you know, so I really appreciate your, you know, the energy that's here. I just hope we can keep that momentum up and take it to where we can get some funding so that we can help support some of these needs.
And I have yet to ask any administrators or educators to stand up, but I know that we have quite a few. But just stand up. Like, can we just recognize all of our educators? Absolutely. We don't take it lightly that you work all day and then you come here to spend time to speak with us. So we do appreciate that. Just wanted to acknowledge you. So I'm looking to my left and to my right twice. I don't see any more lights. So I will have us go on to be respectful of everyone's time. Now we will hear from Rosemary McCloskey.
Good evening. My name is Rosemary McCluskey. I'm a member of the Black and Brown Coalition for Educational Equity and Excellence, as well as an NAACP Parent Council representative and the mother of 2 black sons who attend Montgomery Blair High School. First, I want to thank Dr. Smith, the administration, the board, for your commitment to eliminating inequity for the MCPS. I am here tonight, however, to testify to my disappointment in the budget as it is written. I acknowledge that the superintendent has remained engaged in considering the Black and Brown Coalition's asks, but what we see reflected in the budget are small, incremental investments that do not yet provide the bold and comprehensive action needed. This is an educational crisis, yet what you've spelled out so far is only a meek response. The ERS data makes abundantly clear that Black and Brown students, who make up a majority of MCPS students, are not being treated equitably. Every day right now, thousands of Black and Brown students at MCPS are not getting equitable chance for academic success in comparison to their white peers. My son's experience in MCPS reflect the data. When my younger son was in elementary school, he was enrolled in an on-level math class, even though he earned a 4 in his math assessment. I had to push hard to get him into compacted math, and only after spending three weeks of his summer in a special math program in Rockville did the administrators agree to enroll him in compacted math. And today, right now, my older son is struggling in AP English, partly because, in his words, my teacher doesn't believe I can do the work. Further, he states that not enough students are of color, and in his class, and microaggressions expressed by his white classmates go unchecked by his teacher. Like any parent, I advocate for my children at every opportunity. But I also acknowledge that I wield my privilege like a weapon when it comes to my son's educational success. But what about the parents who don't have the resources or the supports that I have, or the privilege? What about their children? MCPS is facing an urgent crisis, an educational crisis, a moral crisis. I feel a sense of urgency. There should be a sense of urgency. What are you doing? What are we waiting for? You state the budget is a moral document. This is a weighty statement. I reflected on what that means, then I looked up the definition and words associated with the word moral, and I found a list of words like scrupulous, irreproachable, exemplary, virtuous, blameless, ethical, righteous, and true. So I ask you, as the budget is further fleshed out, edited and reviewed, is it scrupulous? Is it irreproachable? Is it virtuous? Is it true? As you move forward and further define the actions you intend to take to undo the patterns of inequity dramatically laid out in the Equity Resource Study, be virtuous, be ethical, be righteous and true. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Wiley Chase. Wilea.
Good evening, President Evans, Dr. Smith, and all Board of Education members. I echo the sentiments of my colleagues before me. Thank you for a great first step. My name is Wilea Chase. I am a wife and mother to 4 children, all having gone through MCPS. My older 2 are 28 and 21, and both graduated MCPS high schools. and my younger two are in 3rd and 5th grades at Laytonsville Elementary School, and are blessed to have wonderful teachers. I am the PTA president this year and the NAACP Parent Council rep for our school, and also a proud member of the Black and Brown Coalition. I come before you this evening as a concerned parent and citizen, and speaking on behalf of and in support of the Parent Council and the Black and Brown Coalition. So as you've already heard, I'm a very involved parent. No one has time to hear about all the other stuff I do here in MCPS, but still, I don't have the answers. I can't fix what ails our Black and Brown students, especially. I attend meetings, I stand in agreement with some things, I disagree with other things, but where has it gotten our children? I hear all of the right things from those in charge. I hear agreement, I hear strong words of encouragement, and I want to believe it, but the promises still have not come to fruition. Over the years, I've heard some of the same language and have also experienced the same result. I've seen new programs, but no new results. Board members, I believed you when you wrote that accountability to our community is critical to ensure we live up to our values and beliefs. Because I believe it because it hits me in my heart. I believe it because it's what I want to hear. And it sounds really good. It's just what I want to hear, but we need action this time. I want my children to experience teachers who look like them. My younger two never have, and my older two, few and far between. I don't want to have to worry that I will need to have meetings to get my younger two into classes and programs that they are more than eligible for on paper, but don't automatically get admission to, like their Caucasian peers. That experience is all too familiar to my husband and myself with our older two children. Our oldest just graduated with his PhD. I say that all the time. Very proud. Our 21-year-old is working and taking classes, but boy, oh boy, my husband and I felt like we should have been allowed to don cap and gown and walk across the stage as well. Everything has become a strategy session filled with research and total exhaustion, readying ourselves each and every school year to make sure that our two children, our two younger ones, are included. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Please hear us.
Next, we will hear from Jacqueline Kalawan. I've said that incorrectly. I'm so sorry.
Good evening, Dr. Smith and members of the board. My name is Jackie Kalawan, and I'm a pupil personnel worker and the vice president of the Montgomery County Pupil Personnel Workers Association. I am here tonight to represent the 53 PPWs in MCPS and to share a little about our critical role in supporting students and families. Can we take a moment and imagine what it really means for a student to attend school today? We know it is not just about coming to complete classwork, take tests, and earn good grades. Attending school today means so much more. Students come to school to learn how to build relationships, explore interests and talents, develop healthy social and emotional skills, think critically, solve problems, play sports, create music and art, prepare for graduation and post-secondary life, get support for various needs they cannot get at home, and even get access to regular meals. School today is not just about classroom learning. Unfortunately, for many students, the journey to accessing all the benefits of school is much more difficult, which is why PPWs are there. PPWs serve as consultants, liaisons, advocates, and referral sources for students and families. We work proactively to build relationships that foster positive engagement with our schools. We come to the PPW profession as teachers, school counselors, special educators, social workers, licensed therapists, and administrators. Each of us relies on our knowledge and expertise daily as we work to support all students in all of the 207 schools in our county. Much of our work requires us to understand and resolve complex challenges that affect our students and create barriers to their education and path to graduation. In just the first 3 months of this school year, PPWs addressed nearly 5,300 attendance and truancy cases. We identify root causes to chronic absenteeism, analyze data to target specific students and families who need more support and are on the front line of student re-engagement and dropout prevention. We have assisted nearly 2,000 families with accessing resources in the first 3 months. This includes referrals from mental health services, kinship care orientation, basic needs such as food and clothing, drug and alcohol screening, domestic violence support, wraparound services, crisis resources, eviction prevention, and support for homelessness and medical insurance, to name a few. We have conducted over 1,000 home visits in the first 3 months of this school year. We are regularly out in our communities because we know that outreach is so important to building relationships with the students and families we serve. PPWs understand that students must have the physical, social, and psychological well-being to be successful in school. We are all in and committed to all students from pre-K through graduation and beyond. We sincerely thank you for your continued support in our essential positions. I would like for the PPWs who are here tonight to stand so you can see who we are. Thank you for our testimony.
Thank you for all your work to our PPWs. At this time, we will hear from Ravon Johnson.
Good evening, Dr. Smith, President Evans, and Board of Education members. I'm Ravon Johnson, and on behalf of the NAACP Parent Council, I thank you for this opportunity. Tonight, I will highlight just one of the focus areas from the 2021 budget proposal: workforce development and innovation. Under the new budget recommendation, a new specialized staff recruitment team is being formed to attract, recruit, and retain a highly qualified and diverse teacher workforce. Diversity among teachers, as well as the support staff, is critical to the success of all students, but especially our Black and Brown students, who make up 54% of the MCPS student body. It is important that these students see teachers, counselors, psychologists, administrators, and paraeducators who look like them, resources that not only understand student needs in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. Addressing the needs of these this expanding majority must be given your top priority. Rosemary McCloskey just testified about the experiences of her son, who is struggling in AP English. He is dealing with microaggressions from his white classmates, but yet his teacher has done nothing to address this. A teacher with a proper background and training would acknowledge this issue, understanding that there are unique struggles linked to African American males in today's society. In 2015, I shared a story about my neighbor, an African American male with a doctorate degree who had lost his teaching position at Howard University due to university cutbacks. At that point, he decided to make a career change. He wanted to teach at the high school or middle school level, hoping to impact young lives a little earlier. He applied for a substitute position with MCPS and was surprisingly rejected. Although there was follow-up with this individual after my testimony, unfortunately, he never found a place in MCPS. Today, he is teaching in North Carolina. In my opinion, this was a great loss for MCPS. Let's not let highly qualified people who are living right in this county slip through the cracks. As MCPS expands its search for highly qualified, diverse resources, please consider adding an employment path for experienced, qualified professionals who want to transition into education. There's a plan to look internally at current MCPS resources, a plan that will nurture and provide a path for current staff members who want to transition to the classroom. This is good. There is also a plan to aggressively expand the search to universities throughout the country. This is also good, but we ask that historically Black colleges and universities be consistently included in this search. Diversity is not just skin color. It includes culture, traditions, beliefs, attire, hairstyles, dialect, relationships, behaviors, and personal experiences. Diversity can be complex, so please ensure that the recruitment team is also diverse. This team should be men and women who are as diverse as our schools and our students. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Gila Franklin Siegel and June Tron.
Thank you. My name is June Trone, and I am a Montgomery County resident and a proud parent of 2 MCPS graduates. I'm here tonight representing the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington, the public affairs and interfaith and intergroup relations arm of our local Jewish community, representing over 100 synagogues, schools, social service agency, and advocacy organizations. I'm a member of the JCRC's board, and I serve as the co-chair of our agency's Education Commission. The JCRC is proud to be a member of the Black and Brown Coalition. Together with our partners at Identity and the NAACP, we envision a school system that provides a level playing field for every student, where children respect one another and there is zero tolerance for hate-based acts of any kind. In line with that, the JCRC emphatically supports the requests of the Black and Brown Coalition. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, the great American Jewish scholar and civil rights activist who marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at Selma, wrote, "What we need is more than anything else is not textbooks, but text people. It is the personality of the teacher which is the text that the pupils read, the text that they will never forget." Who are the text people that MCPS provides for Black, Brown, low-income, and other minority students? Is our school system deploying resources in a manner reflective of Jewish and American values of fairness, respect for all people, and equality of opportunity? A school system that allows bias of any kind to fester unaddressed is harmful to all of its students. This includes Jewish students who, over the last 2 years, have endured a tremendous spike in school-based anti-Semitic incidents, included repeating swastika and other neo-Nazi vandalism on school property, and bullying of individual students. At the same time, we have seen a dramatic increase in open expressions of other forms of hate. These negative antisocial behaviors profoundly corrode our children's learning environments. Children who do not feel safe, respected, or valued cannot flourish. That goes for Black and Brown students who are denied access to our most effective teachers and leaders, and for Jewish students who are anxious because they or their friends have been called dirty Jews, have had pennies thrown at them, or been cyberbullied with graphic gas chamber references during the teaching of Holocaust units. The JCRC appreciates the heightened attention and seriousness that Dr. Smith, Dr. Knight, Dr. Statham, and their team have devoted to our community's concerns, and we look forward to continuing to collaborate with them to respond meaningfully and proactively to this disturbing trend. MCPS must provide greater resources to principals who are striving to address any and all kinds of bias in their schools. Our schools' leaders need to have sufficient experience and support to create welcoming environment.
Thank you. We
Thank
have
you
your
very much.
testimony. At this time, we will hear from Lynn Amano.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in reference to the superintendent's fiscal year 21 operating budget. My name is Lynn Amano, and I'm an advocate for equity in education and the parent of 2 MCPS students. Today, I'll be speaking to you first as the chair of the School Food and Nutrition Subcommittee of the MCC-PTA, and as an individual in the second part of my testimony. Our highest need students are dependent on school meals for sustenance and rely on us to maintain standards of food safety and wellness that will ensure the best outcomes. In spite of the federal rollback of school lunch standards, I ask that you continue moving forward to improve the health of our children by further working to bring fresh, healthy, whole food that is free of sugar and additives to our children. In addition, I encourage you to apportion more funding for logistics and equipment for salad bars that would allow Director McCarran to offer this option in more of our schools. Please consider expanding water filling stations to all of our schools, particularly those with higher lead levels or lower water quality. In addition, parents have expressed concerns to me about vending machines being left on during the school day, and the need to have quick options for farm students during high school lunch so that kids can meet with teachers during their lunch period. Access to lunch is also a concern. My son and I moved here from Atlanta in 2001, where he attended his first 2 years of school. When we moved here, I regularly saw kids dependent on school lunches being forced to eat their lunch in as little as 5 or 10 minutes after waiting through long lunch lines. Our schools in Atlanta were also overcrowded, but they used a staggered lunch schedule to make sure that all kids received their full amount of time to eat and have recess. Each elementary teacher had an assigned time varying by about 5 minutes to drop their kids off in the cafeteria and pick them up from the playground. Teacher's lunch, for example, would be from 12:05 to 1:05 or 12:10 to 1:10. From my discussions with teachers, I've discovered that much of the planning time happens during their planning periods rather than during lunch. A staggered schedule could still allow grade level or subject teachers to have an overlap of 30 minutes depending upon the size of the school. To try this out, I'm requesting a pilot test of a staggered lunch in any one of our most overcrowded and highest farm schools. This is truly an equity issue for kids dependent on our lunch. This could probably be achieved with the help of an extra 0.1 or 0.2 FTE lunch assistant, or in some cases with parent volunteers. On a personal note, I would like to express my gratitude to the board members for moving forward with the boundary analysis so that we have the data we need to make decisions that will benefit of all of our children in the future. As the mother of 2 racially mixed children, I value the exposure and experiences that my daughter encountered when she was given the opportunity to attend a diverse school with a wide range of other students of color. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from Collins Odongo. Not seeing him, we will move on to Joyce Sanders.
Hi, my name is Joyce Sanders, and I'm a special educator, and I have been the preschool teacher in the PEP 5-hour class at Lake Seneca for the past 15 years. I'm speaking to you tonight because I'm very concerned about the PEP 5-hour program changing to 6 hours. Most of my students have multiple and intellectual disabilities, which includes vision and hearing loss. Some students are wheelchair-bound who are medically fragile with seizure disorders and require 2 feedings. These students are on adapted equipment for sitting, walking, and standing throughout the school day. Other students have issues related to autism spectrum disorders. My students have severe communication and cognitive disorders, and although they are between the ages of 3 and 5, they are functioning at a much younger level, ranging from 6 months and up. Safety is a big concern teaching the PEP 5-hour class. Many of my students who are on the spectrum are unpredictable at times, especially in the afternoon when they're tired, and they accidentally trip over students and standers and gate trainers. Some students climb on furniture and pose a threat to other students. The staff has a lot of responsibility making sure all students are safe during the day. Our students fall asleep on the bus or are reported by parents to take long naps upon returning home. A concern with increasing the length of our school day to 6 hours is how will planning and break time be provided. Currently, my paraeducators only receive a 15-minute break during the students' instructional day when they eat their lunch. I wait until after the students' dismissal at 2 p.m. to take my lunch, plan, create materials, call parents, make home visits, write IEPs, and have all my IEP meetings. The reasons for my late lunch break includes the fact that I assist with 2 feedings and help students with their adaptive feeding utensils during lunch. Also, I assist during art and PE instruction. Due to the multiple needs of all my students, many of them require hand-over-hand assistance to successfully complete activities. Most general education staff take their lunches and receive part of their planning time with their students while their students eat in the cafeteria and have recess. My students would be unable to participate in either activity due to their physical, medical, and behavior needs without one-to-one support. Questions that I feel need to be considered before the proposal increase to our instructional day would be: first, will extra paraeducators or teaching staff be assigned for coverage so breaks and planning time would be provided? Second, will additional staff receive appropriate training in how to address my students' physical, medical, and behavior issues? Third, while the increased time is slated 1 hour, it should be noted that it will be 1 hour and 30 to 45 minutes to account for the school's dismissal time. Will paraeducators have increased hours to account for this? Fourth, and most importantly, what is the benefit to my students of the increase? In my professional opinion, these questions need to be addressed before the proposed increase to our instructional day be considered. Our students will not benefit from the additional hours due to medical, physical, and multiple needs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. At this time, we will open it up for board questions. Ms. Dixon?
Yeah. I'd just like to amend the request that I had about the elementary counselors. I think we need another column as well. So and Victoria has this chart, but the name of the elementary school in alphabetical order, the number of students, the number of counselors now, and then the number proposed for the 21 budget, fiscal year 21 budget. I think that'll give us a clearer picture.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Modrowski, did you have a question? Okay. So I'm looking to my left, or my right, my left. I see no lights. We will move on. At this time, we will hear from Maria Blower. Player.
Very close.
Lawyer.
Very close. Good evening, President Evans and members of the board and Superintendent Smith. My name is Maria Bloyer. I'm delighted to be here tonight. I'm here to offer testimony from my personal perspective. I'm here only in my personal capacity, although I am currently the MCCPTA Special Education Chair. My comments today will focus on ensuring that this budget includes and provides students with disabilities with the supports and services they need to make sure that they make the progress that they need to make, and that MCPS has the capacity to fulfill their child find obligations. And perhaps most importantly, especially given the comments we've heard tonight already, I want to talk about making sure that the schools and the teachers are adequately supported, staffed, and trained. In my private practice, I represent families in special education disputes. I'm licensed to practice in Maryland, DC, and in Virginia, and most of my work has been around special education dispute resolution with families. And no amount of training that I can provide adds more hours to the day. No amount of training that I provide adds more teachers and other staff members to the school. I would encourage you to really listen to the families and professionals who've testified today about the need for more staffing to serve our families of students with disabilities, our students with disabilities, and meet the mental health needs of our students. MCPS has been aware of the fact for years, that we are not staffing school counselors, school psychologists, and other related service professionals adequately. The West Ed report, which came out about 5 years ago, went into a lot of detail on this. It's been 5 years. I would really recommend you look back at that, because much of what you heard tonight, had we really implemented the information we got 5 years ago about where staffing levels were, this conversation tonight would be very, very different. But I also have 1 minute left. I will recommend that you really look at my written testimony. I hope the footnotes are helpful to you. I know they're boring, but I hope they're helpful. And I would also strongly recommend that you look at the report again, look at my footnotes, and again, I want to thank you for taking the time and the energy to increase the staffing that we have in special education. I know that this budget does include 132 new positions. It's not enough. I want to be really clear, it's not enough. The gap between our students with disabilities and their non-disabled peers is tremendous. At the elementary school level, our students with disabilities are the only subgroup measured by ESSA that they're consistently achieving lower than everyone else who's measured. That changes when we get to middle school and high school and we see English language learners start to be the bottom population, but at elementary school, they're the lowest, and that's unacceptable. We have to do more to support our students and the professionals who are serving them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You as well. Now we will hear from Ted McAllister.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. After studying our proposed budget, it is disheartening to see support for instrumental music wane at the elementary level. The county support at this point is subpar. As our enrollment increases, our staffing doesn't. Essentially, it's being slowly cut from our schools, and students are losing access at an important formative age. The budget reflects a projected increase of 1,060 elementary school students in the county, but instrumental music staffing isn't tied to that. All other subjects are staffed to match increases in students. While a .2 is being added due to Snowding Farm adding a 5th grade class, growth elsewhere is not accounted for in our staffing. And that's the second elementary school we've we've opened since our last staffing increase. There wasn't anything like that when Bayard Rustin opened. The point 2 is helpful, but after years of our subjects' neglect, barely keeps up with growth ourselves. If we applied our current participation percentage to the projected 4th and 5th grade classes, does it even maintain current class sizes, let alone make progress towards fixing what has been a problem? In recent years, this has been somewhat mitigated at select Title I schools via the Arts Expansion Initiative. However, 40% of our Title I elementary schools, as well as all the non-Title I elementary schools, do not benefit from this, which is over 110 schools, I believe. This means class sizes and student-staff ratios continue to increase at every other school in the county, including schools that are high needs, such as our focus schools. As a consequence, our teachers are unable to teach students in appropriate-sized classes and often have to limit instrument selection for students. We're systematically prevented from delivering our curriculum. As detrimental to our elementary programs as this is, it trickles up to secondary programs and disproportionately affects programs whose students may have less opportunities outside of school compared to communities where families have more means to explore more individualized instruction or other instrument options. The reality is that most of our instrumental teachers are at 3 or 4 schools, with very few at 2, but also some even at 5. I had a colleague resign after their first year because they were placed at 5 schools. This was 5 instrument introduction assemblies, 5 winter and spring concerts, 5 inventories of instruments managed, 5 master schedules to work around in 5 days of the week. Even having 3 or 4 of these is a balancing act. More importantly, on the student side, the reality is that increased class sizes at this stage reduce individualized attention and differentiation per student. At one of my schools, I periodically see different groups of students in smaller half groups in order to balance my schedule around advanced math classes, and nearly every week the students express preference and greater comfort in a small group setting. They learn better in small groups, and they're very aware of it as well. The issue is not new to us, though. A brief foray into our operating budget question and answer archive shows overwhelming numbers that our county puts significantly less resources into this than our neighbors surrounding us. We see between 100 and 200 students more per teacher than counterparts in other districts. And we have touted that our class sizes are acceptable only when we give up contractually guaranteed planning time in order to keep it down for the sake of our students, which we have done. My written testimony includes references for your perusal. Simply, we need our staffing pool to increase as our student body increases. It's hard to believe to spell it out, but it's been neglected for years now. As it stands, we're prevented from teaching our best of our ability, and our students are ultimately done great disservice. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will hear from Bruno Centineo.
Good evening, esteemed Board of Education and Superintendent Dr. Smith. My name is Bruno Centeno. I'm 18 years old and a graduate of Gettysburg High School and a brother of current MCPS students. I'm also a member of the Black and Brown Coalition for Educational Equity. First, I want to thank you for working on behalf of all students, but especially on Black and Brown students in the county. After reviewing the budget proposal, it has become difficult to understand exactly what the end goal is. I'm not saying that it is poorly written. I'm saying that the details are very vague. At the Black and Brown Forum that took place October 15, 2019, the community expressed our needs based on the data shown to us. We need experienced teachers, strong and diverse school leaders, and access to rigorous classes. The asks have not changed, and while the budget is large, I do not see it centering on students that look like me. The budget is hard to understand and confusing. For example, 26.2 New English for speakers of other languages, ESOL school-based positions, and 5.95 full-time positions for students with disabilities. There is no clarity as to where these teachers will be placed or how these positions address these students' needs or other having more positions. As a student who has been in schools with experienced teachers and strong leaders, and at schools that have lacked experienced teachers, I know firsthand that the impact it has on our lives. I spent years noticing that new teachers, like some of the ones I was assigned, do not have the experience or bandwidth to properly support us. There were countless times that they were not able to help with assignments, direct me to a proper channel of support, or provide tangible solutions to my career goal inquiries. My inquiry remains, as my siblings, who are students of color, continue experiencing the injustice of the inequitable access in our county schools. We are indeed lucky to have an involved and supportive family, but without the knowledge and expertise of our educators, we cannot reach our goals. The proposed operational budget makes some great points that should be brought to light. such as additional district staff in the Office of School Support and Improvement that may allow principals more bandwidth for community engagement. This is great to have leaders build the community with us. However, I am worried that this may not be enough to build a strong foundation of support for Black and brown students. After all, before a house is made, the foundation needs to be set. And from what I understand, this document is said foundation. What I want to make clear today is that I'm sharing my experience, which mirrors that of many Black and brown students, to express the continuous need of our three asks. Without a clear plan, designated budget, a systematic change will be further and further away. Thank you for your time, and I am making myself available to find these solutions to these disparities with you all.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Kimber Kane.
Left my glass.
It's okay, we'll wait.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Kimber Kane. I'm a kindergarten teacher and MCEA contract bargaining team co-chair. I'm here tonight exercising my right in Comar to speak directly to you about what we as MCEA unit members believe students need to be successful no matter what school they attend. We were gathered at an unprecedented event that night in October, the Black and Brown Forum for Educational Equity and Excellence. The Black and Brown Coalition shared data about the current school experiences of students in MCPS. Everyone in that standing room only crowd knew that it was beyond time for our children to experience the schools they deserve. The goal that the Black and Brown Coalition shared that night was to work with Montgomery County Public Schools, its partner associations, and other county leaders to immediately eliminate institutional barriers to student achievement. Their focus was to create the infrastructure and culture needed to achieve real and lasting improvements that transform student experiences in schools for all youth, especially Black, brown, and low-income students. At the end of that evening, the coalition asked, and I quote, "Will you pledge to take specific and measurable action working with other leaders to accomplish the asks presented today on behalf of Black and brown students? If yes, please stand up to demonstrate your commitment." I stood up because I knew. You stood up because you also knew. The educators on our bargaining team stood up because we all knew it was about time. Time for all children to receive quality early childhood education and the academic supports to maintain on or above grade level performance through to high school graduation. Time to expand the numbers and types of advanced courses in schools serving the most Black, brown, and low-income students. Time to remove bias-based exclusion practices for advanced courses. Time for all students to have access to effective supplemental learning opportunities to help students catch up and accelerate. Time to empower students, families, and community members with training and information to engage in shared decision-making about which courses students can take and how they can help their students succeed. We have offered up many potential solutions to address the asks of the Black and Brown Coalition and to live up to the commitment we all made that night. We look forward to your representatives engaging with us in real and effective discussions to bring justice to our students. And by the way, MCPS school psychologists do provide real psychological services. When a child tells us they want to take their own life, only a psychologist will suffice.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Alicia Rose.
Good evening.
My name is Alicia Rose, and I'm currently another PEP 5-hour teacher, but I teach at Stone Mill. I'd like to address the proposal for the 5-hour program to be increased to 6 hours. It is my intention that this does not address the specific needs of my students with significant complex needs. I've been teaching preschoolers with severe disabilities, both wheelchair-bound and ambulatory, for 23 years. The current 5-hour schedule is highly demanding for my students, often rendering them unavailable for instruction due to fatigue and overstimulation by the end of the school day. This in turn makes already challenging behaviors worse. Many of my students in my class are on the spectrum and have significant sensory and behavioral challenges. The students in my 5-hour program are functioning developmentally at birth to 3 months of age at times. The needs of these students often compromise the safety of others, including staff in the classroom. Simultaneously, those that are wheelchair-bound require positioning, including lifting in and out of equipment in wheelchairs, crucial to their physical well-being. To make these transfers safe for both students and staff, it has to be done by 2 adults. Adjustments in these positions take staff away from other students and instruction. I respect the thinking that more time at school can result from more progress. However, once the point of great fatigue is reached, there is no additional benefit for the extra time. Behaviors such as kicking, biting, hitting, head banging increase with fatigue and with extra time. Unfortunately, it's not extra learning and progress with the extra time, but increased difficulty for all children. Many of these students cannot filter the visual and auditory stimulation to process effectively in order to be available for instruction. By investing in the current 5-hour program, by reducing its class size, adding staff, and not mixing the ambulatory and non-ambulatory students would improve the quality of instruction and address present safety concerns. This would be a better educational and financial investment for these students. Based on my experience and professional opinion, students will not benefit from the proposed 6-hour day. The complex nature of their disabilities and considerable difference in developmental age from their typical peers does not translate into a better program. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Now we will hear from Sydney Cohen. I said your name. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Dear Board of Education, my name is Sydney Cohen, and I'm currently a PEP 5-hour teacher. I am here today to share concerns regarding the proposed budget to change PEP 5-hour to 6 hours, and I ask the board to reflect on whether its decision is in the best interest of all students' learning and developmental needs. First, I asked the board how it was proposed to extend PEP 5-hour to 6 hours and whether the unique student needs and broad ranges of ability were thoroughly discussed. Although students are chronologically aged 3 through 5, the board is aligning kindergarten students who are 5 and 6 years old to a range of developmental equivalencies which can be as young as 3, 6, or 9 months. The broad range of needs in PEP 5-hour classes expanded dramatically when PEP Comprehensive and Beginnings were combined. And now, as PEP 5-hour teachers, we work with students who have significant cognitive, physical, social, emotional, communicative, behavioral, visual, DHOH, and/or medical needs. Because we are one program, the budget cannot reflect only one side of PEP 5-hour. Instead, it must reflect the needs of all of our students being served in the PEP 5-hour program. Our earliest and most fragile students must be advocated for when considering this change. Based on my experience, an extension of the PEP 5-hour day is not safe or appropriate for these early learners. The budget proposal to extend our day does not consider students' productivity and availability for learning after 5 hours of an already exhausting school day. A former PEP parent and nursing professional, Holly Sorrell, states that had her son Jacob been in school for 6 hours as he aged into preschool, he would have been at higher risk for seizures due to his complex medical needs. She affirms that many complex children are on 1 or more medications that cause sedation, and persons like my son who have struggled with seizures are at high risk for memory lapses and poor cognition. Another PEP 5-hour family shared, "Our son is very sensitive to changes, and his first year in PEP was difficult." The family continued to state that the 5-hour day impacted their son's sleep regulation, which made it difficult for them to attend evening workshops, which are hosted by the PEP program, to support parents with needs they're currently facing. Before confirming the budget proposal, I encourage the board to visit our PEP classes, talk directly to PEP teachers, meet our students, and discuss these sensitive and important topics with families. In order to provide the greatest public education to each and every student, as stated in MCPS's vision, there needs to be more action that serves and advocates for all students in the PEP program. This includes utilizing the budget to appropriately support needs and serve in the best interest of PEP teachers, PEP families, and most importantly, our PEP students. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my concerns felt by myself, PEP professionals, and PEP families.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from Sasha Guevara.
Good evening. My name is Sasha Guevara, and I'm a secondary Spanish teacher and an MCA bargaining team member. I am here tonight exercising my rights in Comar to speak directly to you about what we as a MCA unit members believe students need to be successful, no matter what school they attend. Under current conditions, the needs of all students are not being met. Of my cohort of 15, after a decade, I am one of 2 that remain in the classroom. I am passionate about education and I love my students, but I too think about how long I can stay in the classroom. Teachers leaving the classroom create instability in our communities, our schools, and most importantly, in the lives of our children, and they take notice. Due to a current vacancy at my school, I'm looking at classes of 36 to 42 for second semester. It's about time that teachers have the resources and time to focus on meeting the needs of the whole child for every student that step in our classrooms. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the time is always right to do the right thing. We have a choice to make with consequences. We can choose to fund our schools so that every child gets the education they deserve, or we can continue to funding at levels that are leaving our children behind. MCA has proposed solutions to put Maryland back to #1 in public education. We await engagement at the bargaining table on our system's most pressing issues. In elementary schools, we are proposing 5 specials so that our youngest scholars will learn about health, technology, physical education, and fine arts. Expanding fine arts provides positive and creative outlets that also improve writing, reading, and math skills. In a time when the level of depression and anxiety disorders are on the rise, even at the elementary level, and suicide, the second leading cause in youth, we cannot wait. Now is the time to choose to do the right thing, putting students first. In secondary schools, we are proposing 70% individually managed planning time so that they too can meet the needs of their most struggling and gifted students through creating relevant, thought-provoking lessons, taking into account that every year you get a new group of students with different personalities, different home lives, and this might mean creating a variety of activities for the same level because what works in first period might not work with 7th. Having time to meet one-on-one with students, collaborating with fellow teachers, meeting with counselors, and communicating with parents effectively in order to address the needs of the whole child. We've presented proposals for improving caseloads and ratios of special education teachers, school counselors, and psychologists who are critical in supporting our most vulnerable students. As you know, the Kerwin Commission brought community schools to Montgomery County. We are calling on you to work with us to ensure that community schools are implemented in Montgomery County using the best practices that have been learned by decades of success around the country. Do we want teachers energized to stay in the profession, who have time to know their students beyond a name on paper, who foster meaningful relationships with the community, or do we continue on the trajectory leading to more vacancies where teachers lack the support to meet every student's needs? What will we choose to do? Now's the time to choose to do the right thing.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from our last speaker, Janella Wong.
Good evening, and now late night. Thank you so much for spending the time to hear from us. I am here today as part of the Black and Brown Coalition and as a representative on the NAACP Parent Council. My name is Janelle Wong. My presence here underscores the broad and inclusive reach of this coalition. I do not identify as Black or brown, but as Asian American and as the Chinese American parent of 2 MCPS kids. In fact, I am so deeply identified as Asian American that I teach Asian American studies at the University of Maryland for a living, and I have written 4 books about Asian Americans. I care a lot about Asian Americans, and that is exactly why I stand with the Black and Brown Coalition and support the clear priorities put forward by the coalition. Because these priorities are critical not only for Black and Brown students, but for all students and for all of us who care about making our school system one in which every student can thrive. I was thrilled to see the members of this board pledge to make meaningful progress at the Black and Brown Forum in October. I'm also thrilled that the district is moving to make enrollment in the most rigorous courses the default opt-out option, not an opt-in teacher-recommended option for students who meet clear, transparent criteria for advanced courses. But I have a question. Where is this change, this automatic enrollment in advanced courses for students who meet these criteria, codified or stated for the public? Where can we find out more about this? We're so grateful to the superintendent and to all of you on the board for remaining engaged and prioritizing our interests. But it was surprising to see that investments to confronting racial disparities were relatively modest, given that the budget represents the stated values of this body. I understand that many of our priorities, especially with regard to ensuring that the most effective teachers are assigned to Black and Brown students, depend on contract negotiations. After the negotiation process is complete, can you point us to where we might be able to see the incentives to make sure that teacher effectiveness has been considered in those negotiations for Black and Latinx students? The MCPS strategic plan states that the plan represents the board's commitment to 5 core values, including learning, relationships, respect, excellence, and equity. But we are here to underscore that students cannot learn without equity, cannot develop healthy relationships without equity, and cannot be shown respect without equity. And without racial and economic equity, the district simply cannot be excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really do appreciate everyone coming out tonight. The hardest part of tonight is cutting you all off, right? You have great testimony. We have it. So if I cut you off, we're going to read it. We have it. So I just want you to know that respect you, the time that you put into it, just trying to be respectful of everybody's time. I'm going to turn to my colleagues and see if they have any closing remarks. But just want to remind you of our work sessions that we will have on the 22nd. And on the 28th. The 22nd will be from 1 until 4, and then the 28th it'll be from 12:30 until 4:30. Please tune in. Mrs. Smandrowski.
Yep, I just want to, again, thank everybody for coming out. I have one quick question. Dr. Smith, would it be possible for Mr. Collette to provide us the proposed solutions that were mentioned by Mrs. Kane, I think it was a Kane, in her testimony? Whenever possible. I don't know if that's something that is.
Dr. Smith?
And not tonight, but an administrative type of function.
Yes.
Thank you.
He can't turn on his light.
That's right.
Dr. Daka.
I just want to support that request because, as many of you know, I've been on this board 13 years asking the same questions over and over again. When are we going to really be able to move this forward? I appreciate everything that you all have said about what we need here. Counselors, psychologists, we need to support the arts. My second comment has to do with the PEP program. Having visited PEP programs and also Carl Sandburg, watching those classes and looking at how those kids just get so worn out by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's not even 6 hours. What are we doing in order to make the 6 hours work? I mean, are we doing something additional? So that doesn't have to be right now, but I'm asking the question and we do want to know.
Thank you, Dr. Daka. Ms. Wolf.
I
just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Again, like I said on Monday, it's amazing the number of teachers that come out after working a long day. I know it hasn't been easy, and we appreciate your comments. We also thank the students who came out today, in case I didn't mention that earlier. They're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Dixon.
I also want to thank you all for coming out this evening and for remaining. We're just shy of 4 hours, and I think on Monday we were 2.5 hours in the chair. So I want to give my colleagues major props as well, and thank Dr. Smith and the executive staff who are here in the back there, Pete, Kevin, and Janet, and coming around, Maria, Andy, and Kim, and Dr. McKnight and Nikki, and Dan, our guy, who's now their guy. And then, of course, we want to thank our the board staff as well, Victoria, Robin, and Elsie. We really appreciate you in our security assistance as well. So, give them all.
And so while we'll add it, we'll throw in MCPS
did I
TV
miss
as well.
somebody?
MCPS TV.
Dr. Harris?
Yeah, because she had to interview people about, making sure that we didn't have too many here.
Right. Oh, great. And I also, Janelle Wong, I looked up your 4 books on Amazon. And, if you want to send them to us, we'd love to.
Mrs. O'Neill.
Right.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming and for their thoughtful and passionate testimony. And I agree about our teachers have put in a long day and they're here, and what you all are talking about is the best interest of our kids. But I frequently feel like when I'm at an operating budget testimony, there's a song in the opening of Oliver where the child asks for more porridge, and it's "I want more, sir." It's not that I want more, I need more. And we have continued to struggle, and in a system this size, when you want to add to psychologists or PPWs or counselors, the amount of money, and then wanting to pay our teachers. We were at an event not too long ago at MCA. I heard about teachers who work multiple jobs to, it was in this room, I guess, who had to support their families. And, I want more for our kids. We all do. And it is a struggle because there is not a printing press for money in this basement. We are fiscally dependent on the county council and the county executive and the state of Maryland. And, we have needs, and I think all of us know those needs. I'm not sure that other elected officials necessarily totally grasp those needs. So, we want to do the best for all of our kids, and it's going to take some juggling.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Neill. Ms. Silvestri.
Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you being here and everything that you do every single day for our school system. Go home, get some rest, and drive safely. Thank you.
Dr. Smith, any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you for everything you do. All 24,000 staff members across the system do incredible work on behalf of children and adolescents every day. And it's not easy work, but it's some of the most important work that gets done in our society. One of our initial speakers made a point tonight that I think we all need to keep in mind, and that is the announcement today out of the county office left our facilities budget request woefully underfunded. And that is the operating budget and the capital budget work hand in hand to make sure that we do serve our students well. And so I think it's going to be a long conversation between now and the end of May, and I appreciate all of your participation in that conversation tonight and all the many things that need to get done. So thank you very much.
Yes. And at this time, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.